The world around you hums quietly, the patterns of life flowing in unseen rhythms. As you wander through this quiet space, the question drifts soft as a whisper: what if all of this is not real? What if the life you know, the air you breathe, the ground beneath your feet, is a carefully constructed illusion? This thought, once fleeting, holds its grip. There are those who believe it. They say we might be living in a simulation, a digital construct so sophisticated, so intricate, that it feels more real than reality itself. You move through it, unaware the boundaries of existence blurred by ones and zeros. It begins with the idea that our universe could be a product of advanced technology. Perhaps, in a future far beyond our own, a civilization has created simulations, virtual worlds within which beings like us can live, think, and experience. These simulations might be so perfect that the inhabitants have no way of knowing they are not real. To them, it feels like everything is just as it should be. The simulation hypothesis suggests that one day we might have the power to create such simulations ourselves. Imagine crafting entire worlds with intricate laws of physics, populated by beings who think, feel, and make decisions as we do. If we could create these worlds, wouldn't it be possible that we too are part of one? A simulation so advanced, so detailed, that even our memories feel lived in, like echoes from another time. Some theorists, like philosopher Nick Bostrom, argue that the chances are high that we are already living in such a simulation. He suggests that if future civilizations can create simulations, they would likely create many of them, so many in fact that the number of simulated minds might vastly outnumber those of the original real world. If that is the case, Bostrom says, we might just be one of those simulated minds, experiencing what we think is reality, but is in truth just a layer of artificial code. This idea stirs something deep within. If we are in a simulation, what does it mean for our sense of self, for our purpose, the universe as we know it, the galaxies that spin silently in the void, the planets that orbit their suns? What if they are just simulations too? Could the stars be nothing more than pixels in a cosmic game? If everything around us is fabricated, the line between the real and the imagined begins to blur. Where does reality end and the illusion begin? It is a question that reaches back to our earliest philosophers, Plato, who spoke of shadows on a cave wall, and Descartes, who doubted everything, even his own existence, asking, "How do I know I am not dreaming?" Yet for all the uncertainty, something remains: the experience. We feel the warmth of sunlight, the coolness of rain, the pull of gravity, the touch of another person. Our senses, so finely tuned, trick us into believing in the world. But what if they too are part of the simulation? What if every moment we live, every choice we make, has been crafted within the framework of a vast, unseen system? The more we explore, the more strange possibilities arise. Could our thoughts be the product of an algorithm, our decisions mere outputs in a program too complex for us to understand? Could our every action be nothing more than a sequence of responses to inputs? If that is the case, then where does true free will lie? The deeper we delve, the more we are confronted with the strange, unsettling idea that the world might not be what it seems. Our memories, our identities, even our understanding of time, what if they are all part of a simulation designed to make us believe we are living in a universe of infinite possibilities, when in fact it is finite and controlled? We have long asked ourselves questions about the nature of existence. Why are we here? How did we get here? What is the purpose of it all? But in the framework of the simulation hypothesis, those questions take on new dimensions. If we are in a simulation, then perhaps there is no ultimate answer. Perhaps we are simply part of a grand experiment, a program that runs without a clear purpose, just as we might run simulations of our own. But even if we are part of a simulation, does it change the way we live? Some say it doesn't matter. Even if we are living in a world created by others, our experiences are still real to us. The joy we feel, the pain we endure, the love we share, these things still hold meaning, even if they are programmed. The simulation hypothesis doesn't diminish the depth of our lives. It simply changes the lens through which we view them, and yet there is something haunting in this idea. If we are part of a simulation, who or what is the creator? What happens when the simulation ends, when the program reaches its conclusion? Are we in the end just data temporary, fleeting, waiting to be erased or rebooted? The most unsettling aspect of the simulation hypothesis is not the possibility that we live in a simulation, but the implications of that possibility. What happens when we realize that our entire existence might be a creation of someone or something else? Are we just pawns in a vast cosmic game, or are we the creators of our own story, despite the circumstances we find ourselves in? Some have suggested that if we can understand the nature of our simulation, we might be able to manipulate it. Perhaps by recognizing the patterns, we could break free of the constraints of the simulation. But how do we recognize the code when it is woven so intricately into our experience? How do we see the hidden machinery that powers the world? Perhaps the only true answer is that we may never know. The simulation might be so perfect, so indistinguishable from reality, that we are bound to live within its parameters, never questioning, never breaking free. And yet in our questioning, in our pondering, we find a deeper truth, that even in a simulation, the quest for meaning is real. As the world hums around you, the question remains, are we living in a vast digital creation, or is this the one true reality? The answer may lie beyond our reach, but the search for it continues, gentle and unrelenting, as we move through this world, so carefully crafted, so full of mystery, so full of possibility. Two brothers stand side by side. They are identical in every way, their lives intertwined, their paths parallel. But as one of them steps into a spaceship, everything begins to change. He travels far from Earth, racing through the stars, while the other stays behind, grounded in the familiar world they both knew. As the ship accelerates, the universe around the traveling brother begins to distort. Time, that steady flow we take for granted, starts to stretch and warp. To the brother on the spaceship, the journey feels as if it is passing in the blink of an eye, but for the one left behind, the years go by, steady and uninterrupted. When the traveling brother returns, something extraordinary happens. He steps back onto Earth, and there, waiting for him, is the twin he left behind, only he is no longer the same. The brother who remained on Earth has aged significantly, while the one who journeyed through space has hardly changed at all. The question arises, why? This is the essence of the twin paradox, a thought experiment that lies at the heart of Einstein's theory of relativity. It's a paradox because it seems to defy logic. How can two identical people experience time differently? How can one age faster than the other, even though they started as equals? The answer lies in the nature of time itself. According to Einstein, time is not a constant fixed entity. It is instead something that bends and stretches, influenced by the speed at which you are moving and the gravitational forces you experience. The faster you travel, the slower time passes for you relative to someone who is stationary. In the case of the twins, the brother who remains on Earth is in a sense stationary. He is bound to the planet, moving only with its rotation and orbit. The traveling brother, however, is moving at a significant fraction of the speed of light. As he accelerates through space, the very fabric of time begins to slow for him. The faster he goes, the slower time moves for him compared to his twin. It's a strange and surreal concept, one that challenges everything we thought we knew about reality. If time can be stretched, if it can move at different speeds depending on where you are and how fast you're moving, then what does that say about the nature of the past, present, and future? This paradox doesn't just apply to theoretical twins and spaceships. It's something that affects us all, whether we're aware of it or not. Time dilation is a real phenomenon. It's not just an idea in physics textbooks. It has been observed and tested, particularly with atomic clocks placed on fast-moving jets and satellites. Time really does pass differently for objects moving at high speeds. But how can this be? How can time, something so familiar, behave in such a strange way? It's because in the universe we inhabit, space and time are part of a single entity, a continuum known as space-time. And in this continuum, Speed and gravity have the power to shape how time unfolds, to stretch it, to compress it, as though it were a malleable force. In the context of the twin paradox, both brothers are correct in their own experience. The brother on Earth perceives time as passing normally, just as it always has. But the twin who traveled through space has experienced time differently. From his perspective, it was the brother on Earth who aged faster. It's a matter of perspective, of relative motion, and the different ways time moves through the universe. This idea of relative time is not just theoretical, it's been demonstrated in real-world experiments. For instance, satellites in orbit must account for both the effects of high speed and gravity, or their clocks would become misaligned with those on the ground. Time passes slightly faster for them. A subtle reminder that time is not as universal as we once thought. The paradox also leads us to ask deeper questions about the nature of time itself. If time can be bent and warped, can it be undone? Can we reverse it, travel backward into the past? The answer, according to our current understanding of physics, is no. Time, once it has passed, cannot be undone. The arrows of time are forever pointing in one direction forward. Yet the twin paradox leaves us with more questions than answers. If time is so malleable, what does it mean for our understanding of causality? Can we truly say that time is fixed when it behaves in such strange and unpredictable ways? And if time can stretch and bend, what else in the universe is subject to such fluidity? The beauty of the paradox lies not in finding a simple resolution, but in embracing the mystery of it. Time is something we take for granted, something we think we can control, but when we look at the universe through the lens of relativity, we realize that time is a far more elusive and profound force than we ever imagined. As the two brothers stand facing each other, their experiences of time forever altered, we are reminded that our perception of the world is shaped by the forces around us. Time is not an absolute truth, it is a dynamic, ever-changing experience, influenced by the vastness of space and the speed at which we move through it. Perhaps the most fascinating thing about the twin paradox is not the fact that the twins experience time differently, but the fact that we as humans are constantly moving through time in ways we cannot fully understand. We are all, in a sense, travelers journeying through the fabric of space-time, shaping and being shaped by its contours. And so as the twins continue their separate journeys, we are left with the realization that time is not a simple linear path. It is a force that stretches, contracts, and flows in ways that are still beyond our full comprehension. It is both a mystery and a guide, leading us through the vast and infinite reaches of the universe. There is a place, a point in the vastness of space, where everything we understand about the universe begins to unravel. It is a place where light cannot escape, where time itself is stretched beyond recognition. It is the black hole, the cosmic abyss that bends the very fabric of reality. Imagine for a moment, you are near one of these black holes. You approach it slowly, your spaceship gliding through the darkness, feeling the pull of its gravity grow stronger with each passing second. At first, everything seems normal, the stars distant and calm. But soon, you begin to notice something strange. As you get closer, the space around you starts to warp. The light from the stars becomes stretched, distorted, as if the universe itself is being pulled toward this dark center. Time, too, begins to feel strange. The seconds stretch longer, the minutes becoming an eternity. The closer you get, the more everything around you seems to fall out of sync with reality. This is the event horizon, the point of no return. Beyond it, nothing can escape, not light, not matter, not even information. As you cross this threshold, the universe outside becomes a distant memory, fading into the blackness behind you. You are now part of something else, something beyond comprehension, something that exists outside of time and space as we know it. But it's not just the light and the fabric of space that distort near a black hole. There is another, more terrifying consequence: spaghettification. The very act of moving closer to a black hole begins to stretch you, to elongate you like a piece of pasta being pulled through an endless, invisible force. This is the result of tidal forces, the gravity at the top of your body is much weaker than the gravity at your feet. As you fall toward the black hole, these forces grow stronger, pulling you apart with increasing intensity. First, you feel a slight tug, a gentle stretch, almost imperceptible. But soon, the force becomes overwhelming. Your body, once whole, begins to elongate. Your limbs stretch out, pulled apart by the invisible hands of gravity. What once was a single unified form is now stretched thin, becoming a long, slender strand of matter, pulled toward the singularity at the heart of the black hole. Your body becomes something unrecognizable, a mere echo of what it once was. The process of spaghettification is inevitable. No matter how resilient your body may be, the forces of the black hole are far beyond anything we could ever imagine. They act not just on your physical form, but on the very nature of existence itself, tearing apart the structure of space and time. As you are pulled closer to the singularity, the stretch becomes more intense, the forces pushing you beyond the limits of what we can comprehend. What happens next is difficult to imagine. As you reach the event horizon, the point of no return, everything you know ceases to matter. The fabric of time and space becomes twisted, and you begin to fall inward toward the very heart of the black hole, where the laws of physics as we understand them break down entirely. From the outside, the view of this process would be both beautiful and haunting. As you approach the event horizon, your image begins to distort, stretched and smeared across the horizon. Light from the stars bends around you, caught in the grip of the black hole's gravity. To an outside observer, it would seem as though you are frozen in time, caught in a moment that never passes. But for you inside the black hole, time is no longer linear. It becomes a tangled web, a series of events collapsing upon one another, folding in on themselves. The familiar progression of moments begins to lose all meaning, and you fall deeper into the mystery of the singularity, a place where even time itself comes to an end. As you approach the core of the black hole, the stretching continues. Every atom in your body, every particle, is pulled apart and rearranged in ways you cannot see or understand. You become something other than yourself, part of a cosmic force that transcends the very essence of existence. You are no longer an individual, just a fragment of the universe, lost in the depths of the abyss. The journey into a black hole is a one-way trip. Once you pass the event horizon, there is no escape. No matter how fast you travel, no matter how hard you try to resist, you will be pulled inward, drawn toward the singularity, at the heart of the black hole. The forces at play are simply too powerful, too absolute for anything to overcome. What happens at the singularity is one of the greatest mysteries of modern physics. The laws of nature, as we know them, cease to function in any meaningful way. Time breaks down, space ceases to have meaning, and the universe inside the black hole becomes an unknown, a realm where the very nature of existence is upended. Perhaps inside the black hole, there is a chance for new discoveries, new insights into the fundamental nature of reality. Or perhaps, like everything else, it is a place where even the most profound questions dissolve into nothingness. The black hole offers no answers, only the promise of the unknown. As the event horizon fades into the distance behind you, the rest of the universe feels like a distant memory. The stars, the planets, the familiar world you once knew, all blur and fade, leaving you alone in a place that exists outside of time. You are now part of something larger, something that stretches beyond your understanding, beyond your perception. The mystery of black holes is not just about their physical nature, it is about the way they stretch our imagination, forcing us to confront the limits of what we know. They challenge our understanding of space, time, and the very essence of existence itself. And as we look deeper into the abyss, we are reminded that there is always more to discover, more to learn, and more to wonder about in the vast expanse of the cosmos. Somewhere in the vast expanse of the universe, there may exist a phenomenon so strange, so elusive, that it seems to defy all the rules we've come to understand about space and time. It's not a black hole, pulling everything into its grasp. Instead, it's something that works in the opposite direction, pushing matter out with the same fierce intensity. This is the idea of a white hole, a theoretical object in the cosmos that is the exact opposite of a black hole. Where a black hole sucks everything in, a white hole pushes everything away, expelling matter and energy instead of absorbing it. Imagine a fountain of particles pouring outward into the universe, but with no way for anything to ever fall back in. Though it sounds like something from the realm of science fiction, white holes are not entirely beyond the reach of scientific theory. They are a natural extension of the equations that describe black holes, particularly when viewed from the perspective of general relativity. Where a black hole is the end of a passage, a white hole could in theory be the beginning. To understand this, think of space as a vast flowing river. A black hole is like a whirlpool, pulling everything into its depths, swallowing all the matter and energy that dares to approach. But a white hole would be the opposite, a burst of water, pushing everything outward with unstoppable force. The two might be connected, a cosmic cycle of birth and destruction, one feeding into the other. But there's something unsettling about this idea. If a white hole exists, it would be incredibly unstable. The matter and energy it expels could never return, which raises the question, where does it all come from? Some theories suggest that white holes could be connected to black holes through a wormhole, a tunnel in space-time, connecting one region of the universe to another. Matter sucked into a black hole could theoretically be expelled from a white hole somewhere else in the universe. This possibility takes us to the heart of a great mystery. If matter can move through such a wormhole, escaping one place and appearing in another, what does that mean for our understanding of space and time? It suggests a universe far more interconnected than we've ever imagined, one where distances and barriers are not what they seem. Yet, as compelling as this idea is, there are problems. White holes, if they exist, would likely be short-lived, exploding with the release of immense energy, burning out before they could be observed. Even the theoretical pathways that connect them to black holes are highly speculative, with no direct evidence to support their existence. They remain, for now, a tantalizing possibility on the edge of scientific understanding. One of the most fascinating aspects of white holes is how they challenge our notions of causality. In the universe we know, events are connected by cause and effect. The past leads to the present, and the present shapes the future. But a white hole in its expulsion of matter seems to reverse this flow. It suggests a scenario where the future might reach back to touch the past. This reversal of time and causality has profound implications. Could it be that white holes are not just one-way portals, but windows into different times and places? Could they offer a glimpse into alternate realities, or a means of traveling through time itself? The possibilities are as vast as the universe itself, stretching our imagination to new and unexpected horizons. In the realm of quantum mechanics, the idea of white holes grows even more complex. Some researchers have suggested that they might be linked to the origins of the universe itself, perhaps playing a role in the birth of galaxies and stars. In this view, the matter expelled from a white hole could represent the very building blocks of creation, the raw material from which new worlds are formed. But even this idea remains speculative. The universe as we understand it is governed by rules that we have only begun to scratch the surface of, and white holes, if they exist, are still beyond our reach. We can theorize about them, but we cannot yet observe them directly. They are an enigma, hidden in the deepest corners of space, waiting for a time when science may have the tools to understand them. What would it be like to witness a white hole in action, to see the incredible forces at work as it expels matter into the void? It would be a sight beyond comprehension, a display of cosmic power that defies everything we know about how the universe works. Yet even as we imagine this, we are reminded that we may never see such a thing. White holes may be too distant, too brief to reveal themselves to our instruments. Still, the idea of a white hole lingers, a mystery wrapped in the fabric of the cosmos. It reminds us that the universe is full of wonders we have yet to uncover. Every discovery opens up new possibilities, new theories that stretch the limits of our imagination. And in this vast, unfathomable universe, perhaps the greatest discovery of all is that we have only begun to scratch the surface of what is possible. As we continue to explore the far reaches of space, we may one day encounter a phenomenon that challenges everything we know, just as white holes challenge our current understanding of time, space, and the very nature of reality. And when that day comes, we will be forced to look deeper into the heart of the universe, where mysteries as profound as white holes await. Until then, the idea of a white hole remains a shadow on the horizon, an abstract concept waiting to be understood. It is a reminder that the universe is full of questions we have yet to answer, and that the pursuit of knowledge, the quest to uncover the secrets of the cosmos, is a journey that may never truly end. There are places in the universe where the laws of time and space seem to fold in on themselves, creating shortcuts through the vast expanse of reality. These places, where the familiar stretches and bends into something unrecognizable, are called wormholes. Imagine for a moment a tunnel, a bridge between distant points in space and time, a shortcut that defies the vast distances that separate the stars. The concept of a wormhole, first proposed by the physicist Albert Einstein and his colleague Nathan Rosen, is both simple and profound. It's like a fold in the fabric of space, a tunnel with two openings at either end. If you could enter one of these openings, you might find yourself emerging in a completely different place, perhaps millions of light years away, or perhaps in a different time altogether. Picture the universe as a piece of paper. If you take 2 points on the paper and fold it so that they touch, you have created a shortcut between them. This is what a wormhole would be, a direct connection between two distant regions, bypassing the space in between. It sounds like science fiction, yet it is rooted in the mathematics of relativity. The idea of traveling through a wormhole is tantalizing. Imagine a spacecraft entering the mouth of a wormhole, cruising through its tunnel, and emerging at its other end instantaneously across vast distances. What was once a journey that would take thousands of years could be completed in a matter of moments. A way to explore the cosmos, not through long voyages, but through instantaneous travel. But as enticing as the idea of a wormhole is, it is not without its challenges. First, we must consider the stability of these tunnels. The forces involved in creating a wormhole would be immense, and without something to hold it open, the tunnel would collapse in on itself. This leads scientists to hypothesize about exotic matter, a theoretical substance that could counteract the forces of gravity and keep a wormhole open. If exotic matter exists, it might have strange properties, negative energy perhaps, energy that behaves in opposition to the gravity we know. Such matter, though theoretical, could prevent a wormhole from collapsing, allowing it to remain open long enough for something, perhaps a spaceship, to pass through. But even this exotic matter remains a mystery, something beyond our current understanding of physics. Yet, there is more to the nature of wormholes than just their potential for travel. They challenge our understanding of the structure of the universe itself. If wormholes connect distant points in space, do they also connect different times? Could they be a pathway not just across space, but through time itself, offering a glimpse into the past or future? Some theories even suggest that wormholes could act as bridges between different universes. In this view, each opening of a wormhole is a doorway to an entirely different reality, an alternate version of the universe with different laws of physics, different histories, different possibilities. The very idea of such connections raises questions that stretch the imagination to its limits. But the road to wormholes is paved with paradoxes. The idea of time travel, of moving through a wormhole into the past, brings with it the potential for causal loops, situations where cause and effect spiral into an infinite cycle. Could you, for example, enter a wormhole and arrive in the past, only to inadvertently change the future? Could your actions create a paradox, breaking the chain of events that led you to enter the wormhole in the first place? This paradox is something that physicists must grapple with when considering wormholes as time machines. If we could move backward in time, what consequences would that have for the fabric of reality? Would the very structure of the universe unravel, or would the wormhole simply spit us out into an alternate timeline, one where our actions did not affect the original course of events? Despite these mysteries, wormholes remain a subject of fascination. They remind us that the universe is not as fixed as we might think. The fabric of space and time may not be a smooth, continuous whole, but something that can be bent, folded, and shaped into new configurations. They offer a glimpse into a reality where space is not a barrier but a malleable construct, shaped by forces we have yet to fully understand. The more we consider wormholes, the more we realize that they are not just about the potential for faster-than-light travel or time travel. They are about rethinking the very nature of the universe. Could we one day move between distant galaxies without having to cross the unimaginable distances between them? Could we step into another reality altogether, leaving our own universe behind? In exploring wormholes, we are forced to confront the limitations of our current understanding. We are reminded that the universe is not just a place we can measure and observe. It is a place of deep mystery, where space and time might behave in ways we cannot yet predict. The journey to understanding wormholes may be long, but each step brings us closer to unlocking the secrets of the cosmos. Perhaps the most profound aspect of wormholes is their invitation to the unknown. They are a reminder that our understanding of the universe is not complete, that there are mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. And even as we stand on the edge of what we know, we can glimpse the vast, uncharted territories that lie beyond. Whether wormholes exist in reality or are merely a theoretical construct, they offer a tantalizing possibility, a glimpse into a future where the boundaries of space and time are no longer constraints. They open a door to a universe full of unknowns, where the impossible becomes possible, and the future is waiting to be discovered. As we continue to gaze upward, imagining the wonders of the universe, we are reminded that there is always more to explore, more to learn. The mysteries of wormholes in the fabric of space-time challenge us to dream, to look beyond the horizon, and imagine a universe that is far stranger, far more wondrous than we have yet to comprehend. There is a quiet dance that takes place across the vast stretches of space, a rhythm that we can only begin to grasp. It moves not just through the stars, but through time itself, stretching and contracting in ways we can hardly perceive. And yet, it's real. It's called time dilation, and it's as strange as it is undeniable. Imagine for a moment that you are floating in a spaceship, traveling at nearly the speed of light. The stars around you blur into streaks, like the tails of comets. As you speed through the cosmos, something extraordinary happens. Time, as you know it, begins to slow down. It's subtle at first, imperceptible, but it is happening. To the outside observer, you are moving faster than they can comprehend. To you in the spaceship, everything feels normal. The clocks inside tick away as they always have. But when you look at a clock on Earth, you see something different. It has moved faster. Time on Earth is running ahead of you, while yours has slowed. This is the essence of time dilation. It occurs when an object moves close to the speed of light. The faster you travel, the slower time moves for you relative to someone who remains stationary. It's not just a matter of feeling out of sync, it's a fundamental shift in the nature of time itself. Albert Einstein, in his theory of special relativity, showed that time and space are not separate entities. They are part of a single interconnected fabric known as space-time. As you move through space, your experience of time changes. The faster you move, the more stretched out time becomes for you. It's a paradox of sorts, a fluid, elastic quality to time that doesn't behave the way we expect. This means that while you age more slowly on your fast-moving journey, the people left behind on Earth experience time in the usual way. You return to them, and they have aged more than you. The difference might be small at first, but over vast distances and long periods, it becomes profound. You travel through time as though it were a river, and your speed controls how fast or slow the current moves. It is not just the speed that changes time, though the force of gravity has a role to play too. Time moves differently in stronger gravitational fields. Near a massive object, like a planet or a star, time moves more slowly compared to regions with weaker gravity. This is another form of time dilation, one that occurs not due to speed, but due to the curvature of space-time. The implications of this are vast. In theory, if you were to stand on the surface of a planet with a much stronger gravitational field than Earth's, you would experience time passing more slowly than someone far away in space. Even if you both experienced a few hours, those hours would not be the same. The person farther away would have experienced more time than you. This doesn't just apply to science fiction. It's been proven in the lab. Atomic clocks placed on fast-moving planes have been shown to tick more slowly than those on the ground. Even the GPS satellites orbiting Earth must account for time dilation in order to keep their clocks synchronized with the ones on the planet. It's a correction they must make, or else the navigation system would fall apart. Time dilation forces us to rethink how we understand reality itself. We often think of time as a constant, something that flows evenly for all. But relativity shows that this is not the case. Time is malleable, shaped by the speed at which we move and the gravity we experience. It's not a steady flowing river, it's a complex web, stretched and pulled by the forces of the universe. If time can stretch and contract depending on your speed and location, then how do we know what the true passage of time is? Can there be a universal clock, a single measure of time that applies everywhere? Or is time, like everything else in the universe relative to the observer, shaped by their position and motion? What does this mean for our understanding of the universe? If time can be stretched, slowed, and warped, does that imply that our experience of the present is an illusion? Could the past, the future, and the present all coexist in ways that we cannot yet comprehend? And if so, what does it mean for our understanding of life and existence? Some thinkers speculate that time dilation could be a key to understanding deeper mysteries of the universe. If we could harness the effects of time dilation, could we travel vast distances through space without experiencing the passage of years? Could we find a way to skip ahead in time, to travel through the ages in ways that are currently beyond our reach? Yet even as we ponder these questions, time itself keeps flowing, indifferent to our understanding of it. It continues to stretch and contract, to bend and twist in ways we can measure but not fully grasp. It moves at different speeds depending on where we are and how we move through the universe, revealing the subtle intricacies of space-time with each passing moment. Perhaps the most profound realization of time dilation is that our understanding of time is fragile. What we once thought of as fixed and unchanging is in reality fluid and dynamic. It can be altered, bent, and shaped by the forces that govern the universe. And as we look deeper into the nature of time, we begin to see how much we have yet to learn. Time dilation shows us that reality is far stranger than we imagined. It reveals the interplay between space, motion, and gravity in ways that challenge the way we experience the world. And though we may never fully grasp the depth of these phenomena, we continue to ask, what else is there to time, to space, to existence? In the quiet unfolding of the universe, time is not simply a linear progression. It is a living, breathing part of the cosmos, shaped by the very fabric of space-time itself. As we continue to explore the mysteries of relativity, we are reminded that the answers we seek may lie, not in the fixed, but in the fluid, in the ever-changing nature of the universe around us. Before the universe as we know it existed, there was a moment, a fraction of a second, when everything was born from nothing. A rapid, unimaginable expansion, stretching the very fabric of space itself. This is cosmic inflation, a theory that suggests the universe grew at an astonishing rate, faster than the speed of light, in the earliest moments of its existence. In that moment, the universe was smaller than a pinhead, yet it was poised to become the vast, expanding cosmos we see today. It's hard to fathom such a transformation, how something so small could suddenly balloon into something so enormous, but that's the essence of inflation, the universe swelling exponentially, faster than anything we can imagine. At first, the universe was a hot, dense soup of particles and energy, a seething mass where the laws of physics as we know them didn't yet apply. It was a time of perfect symmetry, where the universe was uniform in all directions, an endless sea of possibility, waiting to unfold. Then came the burst. In a fraction of a second, space expanded by a factor of at least 10 circumflex 26, far surpassing anything that could happen in the span of everyday experience. As the universe expanded, the tiny fluctuations that existed within it began to stretch out. These fluctuations would later become the seeds for galaxies, stars, and planets, tiny pockets of difference in a universe that was otherwise perfectly uniform. These fluctuations were etched into the fabric of space, creating the patterns that we see today when we look out into the cosmos. What makes cosmic inflation so compelling is the way it solves many of the mysteries of the early universe. Without inflation, the universe would not be as uniform as it is. There would be more inconsistencies, more irregularities in the cosmic background radiation that we observe today. Instead, the universe is remarkably smooth, with only the smallest variations scattered across vast distances. Inflation provides the framework to explain how that smoothness emerged. This rapid expansion also explains why the universe appears to be flat. In the early moments of inflation, space stretched so quickly that it smoothed out any curvatures, creating the uniform, flat space we now observe. It was as if the universe, in its infancy, was carefully flattened, creating the perfect stage for galaxies and stars to form. But inflation is not just about size and space, it also sets the stage for the creation of time itself. Time, like space, was stretched, and the ticking of the cosmic clock began. In those early moments, the universe experienced what we call time dilation, where time as we understand it was warped by the extreme conditions of inflation. What we perceive as the passage of time today was vastly different in those first moments. As the universe expanded, it cooled. The once seething soup of energy began to condense, forming particles that would go on to create the atoms that make up everything we know. This cooling process, combined with the rapid expansion, allowed the first particles to form and set the stage for the birth of matter as we understand it. Yet, even as the universe expanded and cooled, inflation left behind echoes, whispers of its existence that we can still detect today. The faint cosmic microwave background radiation that fills the universe is a relic of that moment. It is the leftover heat from the Big Bang, the imprint of inflation's rapid expansion, still traveling through space, carrying with it the signature of the universe's infancy. In a way, cosmic inflation is both the beginning and the bridge to the universe we now experience. Without it, there would be no galaxies, no stars, no planets. The forces that govern the universe would have played out differently, and the very structure of reality would be unrecognizable. Inflation created the framework for everything we know, setting the stage for the evolution of the universe. Yet despite its elegance, inflation remains a theory. There is no direct evidence of it, only the faint traces it left behind. It's like an artist's signature on a painting that exists only as a distant memory, a whisper in the fabric of space-time. We can observe its effects, but the full picture remains elusive, just beyond our reach. Some versions of inflation even suggest that it might not have been a one-time event. What if inflation is ongoing, occurring in different regions of space at different times, creating bubbles of new universes, each one expanding and evolving in its own way? These bubbles could be entirely separate from our own universe, with different laws of physics and different possibilities. It's a mind-bending concept, one that suggests the possibility of a multiverse, an endless sea of universes, all expanding from their own versions of inflation. In this view, the universe we see around us might not be the only one. It might be just one of many, each one an isolated bubble in a vast, ever-expanding ocean of reality. These universes might never interact, separated by the fabric of space-time, but the idea raises profound questions about the nature of existence. If our universe is just one bubble in a greater multiverse, what does that say about the meaning of life, of consciousness, of everything we hold dear? As we continue to study the universe, the legacy of cosmic inflation persists. We continue to look for answers, piecing together the history of the cosmos from the faintest traces left behind. Each discovery builds on the last, slowly revealing the story of our origins, the origins of everything that is and everything that ever will be. And so, as the universe continues to expand, so too does our understanding of it. The mysteries of inflation, of space, time, and the very nature of existence remain as vast and mysterious as ever. We may never fully comprehend the scale of these events, but the search for answers continues, pushing the boundaries of our imagination and reminding us of the infinite possibilities that lie beyond the stars. Imagine for a moment that every choice you make splits the very fabric of reality. A small decision whether to turn left or right creates an entirely new universe where you made the opposite choice. These universes, each one branching off from the last, form a vast, endless web of possibilities. This is the essence of the multiverse. The multiverse hypothesis suggests that what we think of as our universe may be only one of many. These other universes parallel to our own could exist in ways we can scarcely imagine. They may be similar to our universe in some ways, but different in others, different laws of physics, different histories, different versions of ourselves. At first, the idea of multiple universes seems fantastical, like something from the pages of a science fiction novel. But the more we look at the fundamental laws of nature, the more we realize that the multiverse is not just a whimsical notion. It's a possibility grounded in serious scientific theory, with roots deep in the fields of cosmology and quantum mechanics. In one version of the multiverse, known as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, every quantum event leads to a branching of the universe. When a particle is in a superposition, existing in multiple states at once, the universe splits. Each possible outcome of that quantum event gives birth to a new universe, each one containing a different version of reality. This means that every time a quantum decision is made, reality itself divides. There are an infinite number of versions of you, each one living out a different life based on the choices you make. One version of you may have chosen a different path, taken a different job, or moved to a different city. Each of these lives exists simultaneously, though we are only aware of the one we experience. But the many worlds interpretation is not the only way to think about the multiverse. In the theory of cosmic inflation, the early universe expanded exponentially in a fraction of a second. This rapid expansion could have created pocket or bubble universes, each one with its own distinct set of physical laws. These bubbles could float in an endless cosmic ocean, each one completely independent of the others. If the multiverse is real, it suggests that the universe we inhabit is not unique. Our cosmos, with its laws of physics, constants, and structures, might be one of many. These universes could exist in parallel, with some bearing little resemblance to our own, and others so similar that the difference is almost imperceptible. One of the most intriguing implications of the multiverse is the idea that anything that can happen does happen. Every possibility, no matter how small, gives rise to a universe. This means that there could be universes where improbable events unfold, where the laws of physics behave differently, where life takes forms we cannot even conceive. In some versions of the multiverse, entire universes could exist with completely different dimensions, with beings whose perceptions of reality are entirely foreign to us. These beings might not even experience space or time in the same way that we do. The laws of nature could operate under principles that we cannot even begin to understand, creating realities far more alien than we could imagine. But what does this mean for us? In the universe we know, if the multiverse is true, it suggests that our existence might not be as special as we think. Our reality, with its unique laws and constants, is just one possibility among an infinite number. But this doesn't diminish the wonder of existence, it expands it, creating a universe of endless diversity and infinite potential. The multiverse also raises profound questions about the nature of choice and destiny. If there are infinite versions of ourselves, each living out different lives, what does that say about free will? Are we truly in control of our actions, or are we merely following the path laid out by the multiverse, our choices the result of an infinite branching of possibilities? Perhaps the most unsettling question is whether we will ever have any way of knowing if the multiverse is real. If these other universes are truly separate from ours, we may never be able to interact with them or observe them directly. The multiverse could remain forever beyond our reach, a hidden reality existing in parallel to our own. Yet, even without direct evidence, the multiverse hypothesis challenges us to rethink our place in the cosmos. It suggests that reality is far more expansive than we ever imagined. The universe we inhabit might be just a tiny speck in a vast and ever-growing web of existence, each thread leading to a different version of reality, a different set of possibilities. In many ways, the idea of the multiverse reflects our deepest desires and fears. It speaks to our yearning for meaning, for understanding the nature of existence. It offers the possibility that every choice, every action, every thought has profound significance, not just in our own world, but across an infinite number of universes. Some scientists suggest that understanding the multiverse could provide us with a new framework for understanding everything from the origin of life to the nature of consciousness. If there are an infinite number of universes, each with its own history and future, perhaps we are merely one small part of a much larger cosmic puzzle. But for all its allure, the multiverse remains a hypothesis, an idea that stretches the limits of our imagination without offering clear evidence. We may never know whether the multiverse exists or if it is simply a concept too vast for our current understanding. Yet, in our exploration of the cosmos, it challenges us to think beyond the boundaries of our own universe and imagine a reality that stretches far beyond what we can see. Perhaps the true wonder of the multiverse lies in its open-endedness. It invites us to contemplate a universe of infinite possibilities, where every outcome creates a new path, a new version of reality. And even if we never find definitive proof of its existence, the very idea of the multiverse expands the horizons of our understanding, suggesting that the universe is far more mysterious than we could have ever imagined. In the quiet depths of quantum mechanics, a strange idea stirs, a theory so unsettling it seems more like a dream than a scientific principle. It whispers of a universe not just as we know it, but one infinitely split, where every choice, every possibility creates a new world, a new version of reality. This is the many worlds interpretation. Imagine for a moment that each time you make a decision, the universe splits in two. In one world, you choose one path, and in the other you choose another. These worlds, though separated by the smallest of moments, continue to exist in parallel, each one playing out its own version of reality. It's not just a thought experiment, but a real consequence of the strange, unpredictable world of quantum mechanics. In this world, particles exist in multiple states at once, until they are measured. But what if instead of collapsing into a single state, these possibilities all exist, each one playing out in a separate universe? This is the essence of the many worlds interpretation, that every quantum event, no matter how small, gives birth to a new world. Every possible outcome exists, not in a single reality, but across a vast, infinite multiverse. There is no collapse of the wave function, no choosing between outcomes. Instead, every possibility is realized, somewhere in another world. The implications of this theory are profound. If every choice leads to the creation of a new universe, then there are infinite versions of you, each living out a different life based on the decisions you make. In some of these universes, you made different choices, took a different job, moved to a different city, or even never existed at all. It's a dizzying thought. In one world, you might have chosen to stay home tonight, while in another you might be traveling through distant lands. In yet another, the world you know might be completely different, its laws of physics altered in ways you can't even imagine. The universe is a vast, branching tree, each branch a different version of reality, each world unfolding from the decisions of countless others. But if there are infinite versions of reality, what does that mean for the idea of free will? If every possibility exists, does it matter what choices we make, or are we simply following a path that was always meant to be part of a cosmic web of realities that stretches beyond our understanding? The many worlds interpretation also raises questions about identity. If there are infinite versions of you, are they all truly you? In one world, you may be a doctor, in another a writer, in yet another an explorer. Which version is the real you? Or are they all simply aspects of an ever-expanding tapestry, each one equally valid, equally real? Perhaps, in a way, the many worlds interpretation offers a kind of freedom. It suggests that no matter the choices you make, no matter the paths you take, there is always a version of you in which things turned out differently. There is comfort in the idea that in some universe, everything works out, even when it seems impossible in this one. But there is also a haunting quality to the theory. If every choice creates a new world, are we ever truly in control? Are we just part of an endless cascade of possibilities, each one beyond our ability to shape or alter? The notion of infinite choice brings with it a kind of cosmic indifference, a realization that no single version of reality is uniquely important, just one among countless others. The theory also speaks to the nature of time itself. In the many worlds interpretation, time is not a single thread, but a vast, interconnected network of possibilities. Each moment, each decision, creates a new timeline, a new thread that weaves through the fabric of the multiverse. There is no singular future, only a multitude of possible futures, each one unfolding in its own way. Yet, for all its elegance, the many worlds interpretation is not without its challenges. It suggests a universe far more complex than the one we experience. It forces us to reconsider our place in the cosmos, to rethink what it means to be an individual, a being capable of making choices, and yet, perhaps, one small part of an infinite branching reality. And yet, despite the strangeness of it all, the many worlds interpretation has a certain beauty. It offers a way to reconcile the strange, uncertain nature of quantum mechanics with our own experience of reality. It suggests that every possibility, every decision, has meaning, even if that meaning exists only in a parallel universe, one that may never touch our own. In a sense, the many worlds interpretation asks us to embrace uncertainty, to accept that the universe is far stranger, far more expansive than we ever thought. It reminds us that there are no simple answers to the questions we ask about existence, no neat solutions to the mysteries of the cosmos. The universe is infinite, and so too are the possibilities that arise within it. As we gaze into the unknown, we are left with the realization that reality is far more fluid, far more expansive than we could ever have imagined. Each moment, each choice creates a new universe, a new possibility, stretching the limits of what we think we know. The many worlds interpretation asks us to embrace the unknown, to recognize that we are but one small thread in a tapestry of infinite possibilities. There is a quiet hum in the universe, a subtle whisper that travels through the very fabric of reality itself. It stretches across space, bridging distances that should be impossible to traverse in the blink of an eye. And yet, here it is, an invisible connection between particles, a link that defies our understanding of the world. This is quantum entanglement, a phenomenon so strange, so abstract, that it feels like the stuff of dreams. Imagine two particles, light years apart, yet inexplicably connected. When one changes, the other follows, as if they are aware of each other's existence in ways we cannot explain. It is as though the universe itself holds a secret, one that we are just beginning to glimpse. The particles are not bound by space, nor by time. They are bound by something far deeper, something that connects them at a level that transcends the limitations of the world we know. They are, in a sense, two parts of the same whole, like two notes in a song played across an infinite distance, their harmonies perfect and unbroken. If you were to measure one of these particles, the other would instantly respond, no matter how far apart they are. It's as though they communicate with each other in a language we cannot hear, responding to each other's movements across vast stretches of nothingness. This connection is immediate, faster than the speed of light, as though the usual rules of physics don't apply to them. This immediate connection between particles is not just a theoretical concept. It has been observed in the laboratory, where scientists have tested the limits of entanglement. When particles are entangled, their fates are intertwined. Measure one and the other reveals its nature, as if they are holding a conversation that defies the limitations of time and space. In the world of quantum mechanics, things are rarely as they seem. Particles can exist in multiple states at once, in a dance of possibility. But once observed, their potential collapses into a single reality. Entanglement takes this idea to the next level, suggesting that even in their unmeasured state, particles remain connected, sharing their fates in ways that challenge our sense of reality. This is where the magic lies, not in the particles themselves, but in the connection between them. What is this invisible thread that binds them? What is the force that keeps them in sync, even when they are separated by the emptiness of space? The more we try to understand, the more questions arise, questions that seem to stretch into infinity without resolution. Could it be that everything in the universe is connected in ways we cannot see? That every particle, every atom is bound to every other, sharing a quiet, unspoken connection? The more we study quantum entanglement, the more it feels as though the universe is one vast, interconnected web, where nothing truly exists in isolation. There are those who suggest that this entanglement extends beyond the microscopic world. Could it be that consciousness itself is entangled in the fabric of the universe, that our thoughts, our actions, are part of a greater, unseen whole? What if the world around us is not as separate as we believe, but a continuous fluid dance, where every move affects the other? This entanglement, so elusive and mysterious, challenges everything we think we know about reality. It asks us to let go of our preconceptions, to step into a world where cause and effect are not so clear, where space and time are fluid, and where the boundaries between things blur into a quiet unity. Yet, as with all things quantum, there is a paradox at its core. If these particles are truly connected, how is it possible for information to travel faster than light? Doesn't this violate the very principles of relativity that govern the cosmos? But even in the face of this contradiction, quantum entanglement persists, an enigma that continues to defy the logic of the larger universe. Perhaps the answer lies not in understanding the particles themselves, but in embracing the mystery. In a universe so vast, so complex, perhaps the connections between things are not meant to be fully understood. Perhaps they are simply meant to be felt, experienced, observed in moments when we are open to the quiet, unseen forces that move through the world. For now, the mystery remains. The particles remain entangled, their connections spanning vast distances, untouched by time or space. They exist in a state beyond our comprehension, a reminder that the universe is far stranger than we could ever imagine, and that we are only just beginning to scratch the surface of its hidden truths. There is no clean explanation, no neat solution. Quantum entanglement exists, but it exists in a way that we cannot fully grasp. And maybe that is enough. Perhaps the beauty of it lies in its complexity, in the quiet dance between particles that speaks of a universe far deeper, far richer than we have yet to understand. As you sit with this thought, the world around you continues, the particles of your own existence entangled with those of everything else. Perhaps in some small way, you too are part of this grand, mysterious dance, connected in ways that are beyond comprehension, yet always present, always there, just out of reach. And so the questions linger, floating like whispers in the space between atoms, waiting to be heard. What is this connection? How deep does it go? And in a universe so vast, so unfathomable, are we all truly connected in the end, woven together by a force we cannot see, but can feel in every moment? Imagine a tiny particle trapped within an invisible barrier, unable to cross because the wall in front of it is simply too thick. In our world, this would be the end of the road, but in the strange realm of quantum mechanics, this wall is not always what it seems. This is quantum tunneling. At the quantum level, particles behave in ways that defy our expectations. In classical physics, a particle cannot pass through a barrier unless it has enough energy to climb over it. But in the quantum world, the rules are different. Here, particles don't just stop at barriers. Sometimes they slip through, as if the wall itself is only a suggestion. This is the essence of quantum tunneling. It's as if the particle, having no ability to go over the barrier, simply decides to disappear from one side and reappear on the other. There is no physical explanation for this in the way we normally understand the movement of objects. Instead, it's a strange probabilistic dance where particles exist in multiple states at once. Quantum tunneling challenges our very idea of what is possible. In the macroscopic world, we don't see objects suddenly appearing on the other side of walls, but in the microscopic world, where the strange rules of quantum mechanics govern, particles seem to defy these conventional boundaries. They tunnel through barriers that, in classical physics, should be insurmountable. But how does this happen? It's as though the particle doesn't know it's trapped. Instead of bouncing back from the barrier, it simply exists in a state of uncertainty, spread out across both sides. The barrier itself doesn't prevent the particle from being in the region on the other side, it just makes it less likely. And sometimes, against the odds, the particle slips through. This phenomenon occurs because particles, at the quantum level, don't have a definite position until they are measured. Before measurement, they exist as a cloud of probabilities, a wave function that encompasses all possible locations. This means that in some cases, the particle might not just be on one side of the barrier, but also partly on the other side, waiting to cross. When the particle tunnels, it's not doing so in the way we usually think of motion. There is no physical passage, no direct path through the barrier. Instead, the particle's wave function extends across the barrier, and there's a chance, however small, that it will appear on the other side. It's as if the particle takes a shortcut through space itself. The implications of quantum tunneling are far-reaching. It's not just a theoretical concept, it has real-world consequences. One of the most famous examples is nuclear fusion, the process that powers the sun. Without quantum tunneling, the nuclei of atoms would never have the chance to fuse together. The barriers of electrostatic repulsion would be too strong. But in the quantum world, tunneling allows fusion to occur, releasing the energy that sustains life on Earth. Tunneling is also used in technologies we rely on every day. Scanning tunneling microscopes, for instance, use this principle to examine surfaces at the atomic level. By measuring the current that flows as electrons tunnel across a tiny gap, these microscopes can map the surface of materials with incredible precision. This phenomenon makes it possible to peer into the smallest details of matter. Despite its usefulness, quantum tunneling also raises questions that challenge our understanding of reality. If particles can simply pass through barriers, does this mean that the boundaries of space and time are more fluid than we imagine? Could this same principle be applied to larger objects, or is it a strange quirk of the quantum realm too small to scale up to our everyday experience? There is also the question of what tunneling means for the nature of time. In the quantum world, particles don't experience time in the same way we do. They exist in a state of constant flux, their position and energy spread out over a range of possibilities. Does this mean that time, too, is more flexible than we imagine, that the past and future are not as separate as we once believed? If quantum tunneling allows particles to bypass the boundaries of space, could it also open up the possibility of other, even more fantastical phenomena? Could particles move backward through time or appear in places they should not be? These questions remain unanswered, but quantum tunneling reminds us that the universe is full of mysteries we have yet to explore. As we continue to study the strange behavior of particles, quantum tunneling offers us a glimpse into a deeper, hidden reality. It suggests that what we see, what we experience, is not the whole story. The universe, at its most fundamental level, operates according to rules that are beyond our comprehension, where even the most basic laws of physics can be bent, twisted, or simply ignored. But quantum tunneling also reveals something beautiful. It shows us that the universe is not a rigid, deterministic place. It is a fluid, dynamic system where possibility reigns. Particles, in their strange dance, show us that the universe is not just about boundaries and limitations. It is about potential, about what might happen, what could be, and what is yet to unfold. Perhaps the most humbling aspect of quantum tunneling is that it reminds us of the limits of our understanding. We tend to think of the world as solid, predictable, and governed by unbreakable rules. But tunneling shows us that at the most fundamental level, the universe is full of surprises. It is a place where certainty gives way to probability, where even the impossible can occur, if only for an instant. As we ponder the implications of quantum tunneling, we are reminded that reality is not as fixed as we might think. It is a place of constant flux, where particles move, shift, and transform in ways that defy our understanding. The walls we perceive as solid are not always what they seem. Sometimes they are just temporary obstacles, waiting to be bypassed by the invisible dance of the quantum world. Imagine the universe at its most fundamental level, where everything is in constant motion, even when we think there is stillness. There is a quiet energy, hidden in the fabric of space itself, a restless hum that fills every corner of existence. This is zero-point energy, the energy of the vacuum, the unseen force that persists even in the emptiest of spaces. At first, it may seem impossible. How could something be present in a vacuum, an empty space devoid of matter? And yet, according to quantum theory, this is precisely where zero-point energy resides. Even in the void, where no particles exist, there is still a form of energy that cannot be eradicated, a background buzz that underlies everything. This concept arises from the strange world of quantum mechanics, where the rules we rely on in everyday life no longer apply. In this world, even the vacuum of space, the seemingly empty void, is not truly empty. It is teeming with fluctuations, a constant ripple of energy that cannot be destroyed, no matter how much we try to create a perfect vacuum. These fluctuations arise from the quantum nature of reality. Particles and antiparticles continuously appear and vanish, popping in and out of existence. Even in a vacuum, where there are no observable particles, these fleeting disturbances create an underlying energy. This energy is the zero-point energy, a constant presence in the universe, unyielding and omnipresent. It's not just a theoretical concept either. Zero-point energy has profound implications for everything from the behavior of atoms to the structure of the universe itself. In some ways, it's like the ocean beneath the surface of the world. Though we can't see it, it shapes everything above, influencing the ebb and flow of particles, guiding the movement of energy. In some ways, zero-point energy could be the key to unlocking new forms of power, perhaps even a source of limitless energy. Theoretically, if we could tap into the fluctuations of this underlying energy, we might be able to harness it, drawing from the very vacuum of space itself. It's a tantalizing possibility, one that suggests that the universe holds within it an infinite potential that we have yet to fully understand. Yet, for all its promise, zero-point energy remains elusive. While it is a fundamental feature of quantum mechanics, its practical applications remain beyond our reach. Despite its presence, it doesn't behave in ways that are easy to manipulate. It is not like a battery or a fuel source that can be tapped at will. Instead, it is a subtle, pervasive force, a backdrop to the dance of particles. Still, the mere existence of zero-point energy challenges our understanding of the universe. It suggests that the fabric of space is not just empty, but alive with hidden forces. The vacuum of space is not a void, but a sea of possibility, a place where energy is constantly in flux, where nothing truly stays still, even when it appears empty. Zero-point energy also speaks to the deeper nature of time and space. If even empty space is filled with this constant, invisible energy, what does that say about the limits of our own understanding? How many other unseen forces are out there, shaping the universe in ways we have yet to discover? What else exists just beyond our perception, waiting to be understood? The idea of zero-point energy blurs the lines between what we think of as empty and what we think of as full. It forces us to reconsider our definitions of space, time, and energy. What if everything we thought we knew about the vacuum of space was wrong? What if instead of a barren, lifeless expanse, the void is alive with untapped potential? In a sense, zero-point energy connects everything in the universe. It is a universal constant, a shared background hum that pervades every corner of space. It doesn't matter if you are on Earth or on the farthest reaches of the cosmos, this energy is there, woven into the very fabric of reality, waiting to be explored, understood, and perhaps one day harnessed. The implications of zero-point energy also reach into the heart of the universe's creation. Some theories suggest that this energy might be the source of the universe's birth. In the moments before the Big Bang, when space itself began to expand, zero-point energy could have been the spark that set everything into motion. It may have been the energy behind the inflationary period, the initial rapid expansion that gave birth to the universe. This idea also brings with it a deeper question. If zero-point energy is the energy of the vacuum, then is there truly such a thing as nothingness? Is the void, the emptiness, just an illusion, a disguise for something far more complex? Perhaps nothing is ever truly empty. Even the void, in its stillness, is full of hidden energy, waiting to reveal its secrets. Scientists continue to explore the implications of zero-point energy, but the mystery remains. If we could somehow understand it, unlock its potential, what might we discover? Could we one day tap into the very energy that fills the universe, drawing power from the emptiness itself? Or will it remain one of the great cosmic puzzles, a force we can sense but never fully grasp? Zero-point energy also brings to light the interplay between the known and the unknown. It suggests that there is so much more to discover in the universe, so many layers of reality that we cannot yet perceive. What else might lie just beyond our reach, hidden in the fabric of space itself, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? Perhaps the true significance of zero-point energy is not in what it could offer us, but in what it teaches us about the nature of the universe. It reminds us that reality is not as simple as it appears. Even in the emptiest corners of space, there is complexity, mystery, and depth. There is always more to discover, more to understand, waiting for us just beyond the horizon of our knowledge. As we continue our journey into the heart of the universe, zero-point energy serves as a reminder of the unseen forces that shape our reality. It whispers to us from the depths of space, urging us to look deeper, to question everything we think we know, and to embrace the endless possibilities that await in the quiet spaces between the stars. There is a peculiar idea that stretches the boundaries of our understanding, a concept so strange it feels as though it belongs to another universe. It is negative energy, an invisible force that seems to defy the very laws of nature. It's not the absence of energy, but something deeper, something that behaves as though it has an opposite, an energy that repels rather than attracts. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, everything we know is shaped by positive energy. Stars shine with it, galaxies whirl in vast spirals, and every object we touch holds a force that draws us closer. Yet in the corners of theoretical physics, there exists a counterforce, a kind of energy that pulls in the opposite direction, a force that has yet to be understood, but whose effects might be profound. Negative energy does not behave like any energy we encounter in the everyday world. While typical energy flows, creating motion and attraction, negative energy acts as a kind of antithesis. It creates repulsion, pushing objects away, reversing the forces that usually hold things together. It is an invisible current, tugging in the opposite direction. It may seem abstract, even impossible, yet the possibility of negative energy is grounded in the framework of quantum mechanics. In the strange world of quantum fields, particles can appear and vanish, fluctuating in and out of existence. These fluctuations might allow for the existence of negative energy states, where certain regions of space experience forces that oppose the usual pull of gravity. One of the most compelling ideas related to negative energy is its connection to exotic matter. Exotic matter in turn plays a central role in theoretical models of wormholes, those enigmatic tunnels that might connect distant regions of space. If we could harness negative energy, we could stabilize a wormhole, creating a bridge between distant points in the universe, bypassing the vast stretches of space. Negative energy is also tied to the mysterious concept of the Casimir effect. This effect arises when two uncharged plates are placed very close together in a vacuum. The space between them experiences negative pressure, drawing the plates together. This strange phenomenon suggests that even in a perfect vacuum, where no particles should be present, forces can still act, and negative energy may be the cause. Could negative energy be the key to unlocking the mysteries of faster-than-light travel? Some scientists speculate that if we could generate enough negative energy, we could create a warp bubble around a spacecraft, allowing it to travel faster than light. This bubble would not break the laws of physics. Instead, it would distort space itself, contracting the distance in front of the ship and expanding the space behind it. But even as this possibility tantalizes our imagination, negative energy remains a theoretical concept. Despite its appearances in equations and models, no one has yet found a definitive way to generate it. It remains a paradox, a force we can see in theory, but can't yet touch in the real world. We know it might exist, but we can't fully understand its nature. And yet the very existence of negative energy challenges everything we know about the universe. It suggests that space is not an empty void, but a dynamic, fluctuating entity. The fabric of reality might not be as solid as it seems. There could be forces at play, hidden in the background, shaping the universe in ways we cannot yet perceive. Some physicists even wonder if negative energy could be related to the mysterious force known as dark energy. This invisible force, which drives the accelerated expansion of the universe, might be the result of negative energy in some form. If dark energy is a manifestation of negative energy, it would mean that the very structure of the cosmos is influenced by a force that repels rather than attracts. The implications of negative energy stretch far beyond the edges of theoretical physics. If it truly exists, it could open the door to technologies we cannot yet imagine. From power generation to space travel, negative energy could offer a new path forward, a way to bend the laws of nature to our will. But for now, it remains a tantalizing possibility, a doorway to a future we can only dream of. But what if negative energy is not just a tool for future technologies, but something that plays a fundamental role in the structure of the universe? Could it be that negative energy has been present all along, shaping the cosmos in ways we've never understood? Perhaps the universe itself is built on a delicate balance of positive and negative forces, constantly in motion, constantly at odds. The more we explore the possibilities of negative energy, the more we realize how little we know about the universe. We understand gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces, but what about the forces that lie beyond these familiar forces? Negative energy might be one of those hidden forces, one that could redefine our understanding of the cosmos. In the strange, abstract world of quantum mechanics, the boundaries between what is real and what is possible are constantly shifting. Negative energy forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge, to question what we know about space, time, and the forces that govern the universe. It whispers to us from the edges of science, a hint of something greater, something yet to be discovered. Yet, as we consider the strange nature of negative energy, we are also reminded of the vastness of the unknown. There are still so many mysteries to uncover, so many forces and phenomena that lie just beyond our reach. Negative energy may be one such mystery, a reminder that the universe is full of surprises, waiting for us to uncover them. Whether or not negative energy truly exists, its presence in the theories of physics serves as a symbol of the unexplored. It suggests that the universe is far stranger, far more complex than we can imagine. In the unseen realms of the cosmos, there may be forces at play that stretch the very fabric of reality itself, And so the mystery of negative energy continues to unfold, like a shadow on the horizon of science. We may never fully understand it, but the mere possibility of its existence challenges our perceptions of the universe, urging us to look deeper, to question more, and to explore the hidden forces that shape the world around us. In the quiet depths of empty space, where we think there is nothing, something remarkable happens. The void, this supposed nothingness, isn't empty at all. Instead, it pulses with tiny, fleeting fluctuations, an underlying rhythm, a dance of energy that we can barely perceive. These are vacuum fluctuations, the whispers of the quantum world. At first glance, the vacuum of space seems to be a place of stillness, an absence where no particles or matter exist. But this is far from the truth. In the realm of quantum mechanics, even what we think of as empty space is alive, filled with tiny momentary changes. These fluctuations occur as particles appear and vanish, constantly shifting in and out of existence. It's a subtle, nearly imperceptible dance of energy. Tiny pairs of particles, called virtual particles, emerge for a brief moment before vanishing again, only to be replaced by others. These particles don't last long enough to be directly observed, but their brief existence leaves an imprint on the fabric of space-time itself, a fleeting ripple in the quantum ocean. This phenomenon might seem like something out of a science fiction story, yet it is grounded in the very fabric of reality. The idea that empty space could be so full of life, of particles and energy flickering in and out of existence, challenges our most basic assumptions about the universe. We think of space as a vacuum, a place where nothing happens, yet it is a field of endless possibility, constantly changing, constantly alive. In a way, vacuum fluctuations represent the fundamental unpredictability of the quantum world. It is not a realm of certainty, but of possibility. The very nature of these fluctuations speaks to the inherent uncertainty that governs quantum mechanics. Particles do not have fixed, well-defined positions. Instead, they exist in a cloud of probabilities, uncertain until they are measured. This unpredictability echoes in every corner of the quantum vacuum. These fluctuations are not just theoretical musings, they have real consequences. One of the most fascinating examples is the Casimir effect, a physical manifestation of vacuum fluctuations. When two uncharged metal plates are placed very close together in a vacuum, they experience an attractive force. This force arises due to the vacuum fluctuations between the plates, showing that even empty space can exert a force, despite appearing to be empty. What's even more remarkable is that these fluctuations are not just small ripples in the fabric of space, they carry with them the potential for vast, invisible effects. In fact, vacuum fluctuations are thought to play a role in the creation of the universe itself. During the early moments after the Big Bang, the vacuum was full of energy, and these fluctuations may have contributed to the rapid expansion of the universe, an event known as cosmic inflation. In the context of the universe's birth, vacuum fluctuations were not just insignificant flickers, they were the seeds of all that we see around us. Tiny brief moments of energy created the first structures of reality. From these fluctuations, galaxies, stars, and planets began to form. The small disturbances in the quantum vacuum set the stage for everything that followed. Even today, vacuum fluctuations continue to shape the universe in subtle ways. The empty space between galaxies is not truly empty. It is filled with these tiny fluctuations, shaping the properties of space-time and influencing the movement of objects on the largest scales. They are an invisible force that guides the expansion of the universe, creating ripples in the fabric of space that stretch across cosmic distances. But how much can we truly understand about these fluctuations? Despite their significance, vacuum fluctuations remain one of the most elusive phenomena in physics. They are incredibly difficult to observe directly, hidden in the quantum realm where uncertainty reigns. Yet their presence is felt in the way the universe behaves, in the patterns we observe in everything from atomic interactions to the cosmic scale. There is a paradoxical beauty in the idea of vacuum fluctuations. They remind us that even in the emptiest places, even in the spaces we think of as empty, there is movement, there is change. The universe is not still, it is constantly shifting, constantly evolving, even in its most empty moments. It is a world where everything is in flux, where nothing is ever truly at rest. The discovery of vacuum fluctuations also challenges our perception of reality itself. It suggests that the universe is far stranger than we can imagine. It suggests that even the things we take for granted, like the emptiness of space, are not what they seem. The quantum vacuum is a dynamic, active field, a place of constant potential, constantly creating and recreating the world around us. Some scientists have even speculated that vacuum fluctuations could be the source of dark energy, the mysterious force responsible for the accelerating expansion of the universe. If this is true, then the fluctuations in the quantum vacuum might not only explain the past and present of the universe, but also shape its future. The potential of these fluctuations is vast, stretching far beyond our current understanding. It's humbling to consider that the universe, at its most fundamental level, operates according to rules we can barely grasp. These fluctuations are just one piece of the puzzle, one example of the hidden forces that guide everything we see and experience. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we truly understand, how much lies just beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. In a way, vacuum fluctuations invite us to embrace the unknown, to explore the mysteries that lie hidden in the smallest of spaces. They remind us that there is always more to the universe than meets the eye, that even in the quietest corners of space, there is a depth of activity, a silent unfolding of the cosmic story. As we peer into the heart of these quantum mysteries, we are left with a sense of wonder. Vacuum fluctuations show us that the universe is not just a passive backdrop to our lives, but a dynamic living entity, constantly shifting and evolving. It is a place of infinite potential, where even the void is full of possibility. There are invisible forces at play in the universe, forces so subtle, so quiet, that they go unnoticed unless we look closely. The Casimir effect is one of these forces, a mysterious phenomenon that occurs between two uncharged plates, placed in a vacuum, yet it is capable of exerting a measurable force, pulling the plates together. At first, it seems impossible. How could empty space, a vacuum devoid of particles, create any kind of force? And yet the Casimir effect shows us that even in what we consider to be emptiness, there is something that influences the objects around it in ways we don't fully understand. It is as if space itself holds a kind of quiet energy. The force is small, almost imperceptible in everyday life, but on a microscopic scale, it becomes significant. When two conducting plates are placed close enough in a vacuum, the space between them becomes different from the space outside. The quantum fluctuations of the vacuum create a pressure that pushes the plates together. It's a subtle force, but one that has real measurable consequences. This force arises from the vacuum fluctuations that fill space. These fluctuations, as tiny virtual particles constantly pop in and out of existence, are not evenly distributed. The plates block some of these fluctuations, creating a difference in pressure between the space inside the plates and the space outside them. The result is a tiny, but real, force that causes them to attract. This phenomenon, though seemingly strange, is a direct consequence of the quantum nature of reality. In the quantum world, space is not empty. It is full of fluctuations, a constant ebb and flow of energy, even when nothing appears to be happening. These fluctuations, which underlie the Casimir effect, reveal a universe far more dynamic than we realize. The Casimir effect was first predicted by the Dutch physicist Hendrik Casimir in 1948. He theorized that this force should arise between two plates in a vacuum, and over time, experiments confirmed his predictions. But the idea that a vacuum could exert such a force, that something as intangible as empty space could create an effect, challenged conventional wisdom about what we think of as nothing. It's a reminder that the universe is full of hidden dimensions, forces, and phenomena that are not always visible to us. What we perceive as empty space is in fact alive with tiny fluctuations that shape the very structure of reality. The Casimir effect is one example of how the invisible and the unseen are constantly influencing the world around us. This tiny force, which operates on scales too small to notice with the naked eye, has important implications for the field of nanotechnology. As technology continues to shrink, moving into the realm of atoms and molecules, the Casimir effect becomes more relevant. The forces at play between microscopic objects become significant, and understanding them is crucial for creating devices at the nanoscale. In fact, the Casimir effect could even be a challenge for future technologies. As we create smaller and smaller devices, the attractive force between surfaces due to the Casimir effect could interfere with their operation. This could make it difficult to control the motion of tiny components, requiring new methods to deal with this quantum influence. At the same time, the Casimir effect opens the door to possibilities we've yet to fully explore. Could we harness this force in practical ways, using it to generate energy or manipulate materials on an atomic scale? The idea seems almost fantastical, but the Casimir effect shows that the potential for new discoveries and technologies lies hidden in the smallest corners of quantum mechanics. The Casimir effect also deepens our understanding of the vacuum itself. Far from being empty, the vacuum is a complex, dynamic space full of subtle interactions and fluctuating energies. The concept of the vacuum as a nothingness is challenged by the reality of the Casimir effect, which shows that even the most empty spaces are full of life and energy, just waiting to be discovered. If the Casimir effect can occur in a simple setup of two plates, what other mysterious phenomena might be lurking in the depths of the quantum vacuum? What else lies hidden in the folds of space, unseen and unfelt, but still shaping the universe around us? The Casimir effect, in its simplicity, suggests a universe that is far richer, far more complex than we can easily perceive. And it's not just the Casimir effect itself that fascinates. It's the way it invites us to look deeper into the fabric of reality. It challenges our perceptions of space, matter, and energy, urging us to consider that there may be forces at work in the universe that we can't yet see or fully understand. There is always more beneath the surface, always something more to explore. The Casimir effect is a reminder that the universe is not just a place of matter and energy, but a place where the unseen can have real, tangible effects. It suggests that the quiet, invisible world of quantum fluctuations is full of potential, full of forces that are constantly shaping the world in ways we are only beginning to understand. It also speaks to the power of imagination. The predictions of Casimir, once theoretical, are now part of our understanding of the quantum world. What other phenomena might we yet discover, hidden in the smallest corners of space, waiting for the right questions to be asked? The Casimir effect shows that science is still full of mysteries, still full of spaces to explore, even in the most unlikely places. As we continue to probe the quantum world, the Casimir effect will remain a fascinating example of how the universe operates on scales far beyond our ordinary experience. It reminds us that the universe, in all its complexity, is shaped by forces both seen and unseen, forces that we can measure and feel, but only with the right tools and the right understanding. Imagine for a moment that everything you see, everything you feel, is not truly what it seems. The world, the universe around you, might be nothing more than a projection, a shimmering illusion cast from a distant boundary, a thin slice of reality stretched across a vast, unseen expanse. This is the essence of the holographic principle. At first it might sound like science fiction, a theory that suggests the three-dimensional world we experience is just a projection of information encoded on a distant two-dimensional surface. Yet, in the strange realm of theoretical physics, this idea is not as far-fetched as it seems. It is a suggestion that the very nature of space, time, and matter is far stranger than we imagine. The holographic principle was born from the study of black holes. These enigmatic objects, with their immense gravitational pull, challenged our understanding of physics. Physicists realized that the information about the matter that falls into a black hole might not be lost, as previously thought. Instead, it could be encoded on the surface of the black hole, like a hologram, creating a map of everything that exists inside. This revelation gave rise to a startling idea. What if all the information in the universe is similarly encoded on a distant surface, and what we perceive as three-dimensional space is nothing more than a projection of that information? In this view, the universe is like a vast cosmic projection screen, and our reality is simply the image it casts. It's a radical shift in perspective. The idea that the universe is a hologram, that the seemingly solid world around us is a mere projection of information from a two-dimensional surface, challenges everything we know about reality. What if the dimensions of space we experience are not fundamental, but emergent, a result of deeper hidden layers of information we cannot directly observe? This concept is rooted in string theory, a framework that suggests that the fundamental particles of the universe are not point-like objects, but tiny, vibrating strings. These strings exist in more dimensions than we can perceive, dimensions beyond the familiar three of space and one of time. The holographic principle proposes that these higher dimensions might be encoded on lower dimensional surfaces, creating the illusion of the world we know. What does this mean for our understanding of space and time? If our universe is a projection, then the true nature of reality lies beyond the surface we see. Space and time, the very fabric of our experience, might be nothing more than emergent properties, arising from deeper hidden processes. The universe we see around us could be a shadow, a reflection of something far more profound. And if the universe is indeed a hologram, what about the laws that govern it? Could gravity, light, and matter all be the result of information encoded on a distant surface? Could the forces we experience, the very fabric of space-time itself, be a manifestation of this deeper, more fundamental reality? This perspective also suggests that the universe might not be as continuous as we think. If everything is encoded on a two-dimensional surface, then space might not be a smooth, continuous entity, but a discrete network of information. What we experience as the smooth flow of time and space could be an illusion, a result of the way information is processed and projected onto the fabric of reality. The holographic principle also offers a potential explanation for some of the deepest mysteries in physics. For example, it could provide insight into the nature of quantum mechanics and gravity. These two realms of physics, which have long resisted reconciliation, might be brought together through the idea that they are both manifestations of the same underlying holographic information. But while the holographic principle offers a fascinating possibility, it remains a theory, one that has yet to be fully proven or universally accepted. There are still many unanswered questions, many unknowns, and the idea of a holographic universe remains elusive. The challenge for physicists is to find ways to test this idea, to look for evidence that could confirm or disprove the notion that our universe is a projection. Despite these challenges, the holographic principle has inspired a new way of thinking about the universe. It reminds us that reality is far more fluid than we imagine, that the world we experience may not be the world that truly exists. There could be layers of reality, hidden from our perception, waiting to be uncovered by the curious mind. In a sense, the holographic principle offers a glimpse into a universe that is far more complex than we can comprehend. It suggests that what we see is just the tip of the iceberg, that there are deeper hidden dimensions beneath the surface of our experience. The reality we live in might be just one small part of a much larger, more intricate whole. As we explore these ideas, we begin to question the very nature of existence. If the universe is a projection, what does that say about our place in it? Are we just fleeting shadows, projections of deeper, unknowable truths? Or is there something more, something within the depths of this cosmic hologram waiting to be understood? In the quiet depths of theoretical physics, the holographic principle continues to evolve, inspiring new questions, new ways of looking at the universe. It reminds us that the reality we experience is far more mysterious than we can imagine, that there is always more beneath the surface, always more to explore, waiting for us to look deeper. The implications of this idea extend far beyond science. If our world is a hologram, if our experience of space and time is not fundamental but emergent, then everything we know about the nature of reality is up for reconsideration. The universe in all its complexity might be nothing more than a cosmic illusion, one that we are only beginning to glimpse. Deep within the heart of a black hole, where space and time twist into unimaginable shapes, there is a mysterious process at work, one that seems to defy everything we know about the laws of physics. It is a strange and subtle radiation, a glimmer of light born from the blackest of places. This is Hawking radiation. Black holes, with their immense gravity, are often thought of as cosmic vacuum cleaners, pulling everything into their depths and trapping it forever. Yet according to the brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking, these voids are not as silent as they seem. In fact, they may slowly give off a faint radiation, a whisper of energy that escapes their grasp. At first, this may sound impossible. How can something that pulls everything in, even light, ever release anything? But Hawking's theory suggests that the extreme conditions near a black hole's event horizon, the boundary beyond which nothing can escape, are the birthplace of this mysterious radiation. Here, in the depths of space, quantum mechanics shows its strangest side. In the quantum world, the vacuum of space is far from empty. It is filled with constant fluctuations, tiny pairs of particles that spontaneously appear and vanish. Normally, these particles quickly annihilate each other, returning to the vacuum. But near the event horizon of a black hole, these particles can behave differently. Hawking proposed that if a particle-antiparticle pair forms near the event horizon, one of the particles may fall into the black hole, while the other escapes into space. The one that escapes carries away a tiny amount of energy, which we observe as Hawking radiation. In this way, a black hole slowly loses mass over time, emitting radiation as it does. This radiation is incredibly faint, far too weak to detect with our current instruments from a black hole that is far away. But the implications of this process are profound. Over an unimaginably long period of time, the emission of Hawking radiation could cause a black hole to lose mass, gradually evaporating away until it disappears entirely. The idea of a black hole disappearing is as fascinating as it is unsettling. We often think of black holes as eternal, objects that remain unchanging for the life of the universe. But Hawking radiation suggests that even the most mysterious, most impenetrable objects in the cosmos are subject to the laws of physics, slowly transforming and fading away over time. Hawking's insight also ties together the strange worlds of quantum mechanics and general relativity. For decades, these two theories have seemed to exist in separate realms, each describing a different aspect of the universe. But with the introduction of Hawking radiation, he bridged these two worlds, showing that they can coexist even in the most extreme conditions. This process, as subtle and distant as it may be, has the potential to reshape our understanding of the universe. If black holes can lose mass through radiation, it challenges our perceptions of their ultimate fate. Once thought to be the final destination for anything that crosses their event horizon, black holes may in fact slowly vanish, returning their energy to the universe in the form of radiation. Yet for all its beauty and elegance, Hawking radiation also raises questions that remain unanswered. If black holes can evaporate, what happens to the information that falls into them? According to the laws of quantum mechanics, information cannot be lost, but if a black hole disappears, what becomes of the matter and energy that it contained? This question has puzzled physicists for years, and it remains one of the most intriguing paradoxes in modern science. Some theories suggest that the information might be encoded in the radiation itself, but how this could work is still unclear. The so-called information paradox stands at the intersection of quantum mechanics and general relativity, a puzzle that challenges our understanding of the very fabric of reality. Despite the mystery, the concept of Hawking radiation invites us to rethink the way we understand the cosmos. It speaks to the hidden, subtle processes that shape the universe, forces that operate not in the visible world of everyday life, but in the strange, fleeting moments of quantum mechanics, where particles appear and vanish in an instant. In the grand scale of things, Hawking radiation might seem like a small, quiet phenomenon, but over time it could change everything we know about black holes and their role in the universe. It is a reminder that even the most mysterious objects in space are not beyond the reach of the laws that govern the cosmos. Perhaps, in the distant future, as we develop new technologies and refine our instruments, we will be able to observe Hawking radiation directly. Perhaps, with this knowledge, we will unlock new insights into the life and death of black holes, and in doing so, learn more about the fundamental workings of the universe. In the meantime, the theory of Hawking radiation invites us to look beyond the darkness, to imagine a universe where even the most enigmatic objects are not fixed, but dynamic, changing, and subject to the flow of time. It challenges us to reconsider our place in the cosmos, to think about the forces that shape our reality, both seen and unseen. Hawking's insight also encourages us to embrace the unknown, to explore the mysteries that lie just beyond our reach. The universe is full of surprises, full of questions we have yet to answer. The journey to understanding is ongoing, and with each discovery, we uncover more of the story, piece by piece, light by faint light. There is a moment, distant and unthinkable, when the universe will reach its ultimate end. A time far beyond the stars we know, beyond the galaxies, when all things drift into a state of perfect stillness. This is the heat death of the universe, a cold and inevitable fate. Imagine a cosmos where every star has burned out, where every galaxy has drifted too far apart to ever touch again. The once vibrant universe, full of light and energy, has grown silent, its pulse slowed to a faint whisper. This is not an explosion, but a gradual fading, a retreat into a timeless, empty void. The heat death is the final chapter in the universe's story, a slow unraveling of the forces that once gave it shape. It begins with the steady expansion of the universe, where galaxies drift farther and farther from each other. Space itself stretches, and the stars burn through their fuel, leaving only darkness in their wake. As the stars burn out, the once dominant force of light fades away. Without new stars to light the night sky, the universe grows cold. Even the remnants of the stars, the black holes and the white dwarfs, eventually succumb to the laws of thermodynamics. Slowly, the universe loses its heat, its energy dissipating into nothingness. This process is driven by the second law of thermodynamics, the principle that energy tends to spread out, to become more evenly distributed over time. As energy disperses, systems become more disordered, reaching a state of maximum entropy. In this state, there is no longer any useful energy left to fuel life or change. The universe is in stasis, unmoving and unchanging. For all the chaos that marks the universe's middle age, its birth in the Big Bang, its swirling galaxies, its violent stars, the heat death promises a kind of serene, unchanging finality. There will be no explosions, no grand crashes, just an endless quiet decay into uniformity. A slow, gradual fade into the infinite dark. Time itself, as we understand it, will continue to tick forward, but it will be devoid of all meaning. With no stars, no galaxies, no heat, the universe will become a place where nothing changes. It will be a place where the passage of time has no effects, no events, no causes, just the vast emptiness that stretches endlessly in all directions. What does it mean for a universe to reach this point of stillness? Does it matter if the universe ceases to be a place of change, of growth, of energy? The heat death is the end of all dynamics, the cessation of all activity. It is an infinite moment of nothing, where even the smallest flicker of energy no longer has a place to exist. In this state, even the remnants of life, if life still existed, would find no resources, no energy to sustain them. Life, as we know it, is a process that requires energy, warmth, and change. In the heat death, all of these would be gone. The universe would become a vast, featureless expanse, too cold and too empty for anything to thrive. The idea of the heat death forces us to consider the ultimate fate of everything, the stars, the galaxies, the very fabric of reality. If the universe is bound to end in this cold, unchanging way, what does that say about the significance of our own existence? What are we to make of our brief moment in the cosmos when all around us the universe is quietly decaying? Despite the starkness of this image, there is something strangely peaceful about the heat death. It is not the violent end we often imagine, the sudden collapse of everything in a cataclysmic event. Instead, it is a quiet drift into oblivion, a slow, gentle closing of the cosmic book. It speaks to the inevitable passage of time, to the nature of all things, growth, decay, and stillness. In the distant future, when the universe has reached this point, there will be no observers left to witness it. No civilizations, no stars, no light. It will be a place of complete isolation, devoid of all motion and activity. The universe in its final state will exist not as a dynamic, thriving entity, but as a frozen relic of what once was. Yet, even as we contemplate the heat death, we must remember that it is not an event we will witness in any human time frame. The end of the universe as we know it is billions of years away, beyond even the longest lifetimes of stars. It is a distant, abstract future, one that we can only imagine but never experience. Perhaps the most profound aspect of the heat death is not the inevitable quiet, but what it suggests about the nature of existence. The universe in its vastness, its complexity, is ultimately bound by the same forces that govern all systems: entropy, decay, and change. It reminds us that all things, no matter how grand or beautiful, are subject to the passage of time, to the slow, unrelenting forces that shape everything. The heat death is not a tragedy, nor is it a triumph. It is simply the final state of the universe, a place where all things come to rest, where nothing is left to evolve or to change. It is a moment of perfect stillness, a place beyond even the concept of nothingness, where the very idea of time has no meaning. As we reflect on the vastness of the universe and its eventual fate, we are reminded of the delicate balance that exists between creation and dissolution. The heat death is not something to fear, but something to understand, a natural consequence of the laws that govern existence. It is the universe's final breath, a quiet and inevitable end. In the deepest stretches of the universe, where the fabric of reality itself bends and twists, a strange and unsettling possibility arises. Imagine for a moment that in the vast emptiness, with all the complexity of existence surrounding us, there could emerge a mind, a fleeting consciousness, created out of nothing, a random configuration of particles. This is the idea of the Boltzmann brain. The concept comes from the strange and abstract world of statistical mechanics, where according to the laws of thermodynamics, everything is subject to chance. Given enough time and enough space, the odds of particles randomly assembling themselves into a functioning brain, complete with memories, thoughts, and awareness, grow more likely than we might think. In this vast, chaotic universe, perhaps consciousness is not so rare after all. In this scenario, a Boltzmann brain would form spontaneously, appearing out of the randomness of particles colliding and organizing themselves, a brief flicker of awareness in the dark sea of entropy. It could have memories of a life it never lived, a world it never truly touched, and yet it would believe itself to be real, fully aware of its existence, if only for a moment. This idea challenges everything we understand about consciousness and reality. If a brain could form from nothing, without the need for a body or a sustained history, what does that say about the nature of existence itself? What does it mean to be aware, to think, to exist in a universe where the very concept of reality might be fleeting and fragile? At first glance, this might seem like a purely philosophical puzzle, a curious thought experiment that has little bearing on the real world. But there is something unsettling about it, a deep existential question about the nature of consciousness and the vastness of time. If random brains could appear in a universe where entropy reigns, how could we be sure that our consciousness is not just another fluke of randomness? As we consider the implications of Boltzmann brains, we begin to confront the limitations of our own understanding. If we are truly nothing more than the product of random chance, if our consciousness could simply arise from the void, then what does that mean for the reality we perceive? Is everything we experience just a momentary assembly of particles, fleeting and ultimately insignificant? This paradox becomes even more pronounced when we think about the universe itself. If the universe exists for an infinite amount of time, then according to the laws of statistical mechanics, the likelihood of Boltzmann brains forming becomes greater than the likelihood of stable, sustained universes like our own. Over infinite time, the creation of these random minds could vastly outnumber the creation of entire galaxies, stars, and life forms. And so, the Boltzmann brain hypothesis raises a terrifying possibility that we as conscious beings may be nothing more than temporary aberrations in the universe's eternal entropy, existing only as a brief spark of awareness in the vast, mindless stretch of time. Perhaps our entire existence is no more than a fleeting random occurrence, a fragile bubble in a sea of nothingness. But how do we know whether we are real or just the product of some cosmic fluctuation? Could we be like the Boltzmann brain, fooling ourselves into believing we have a purpose, that our world is real? The idea forces us to confront the very foundations of reality, to ask whether we can ever truly know anything with certainty. In the quiet corners of the cosmos, where the universe is vast and silent, the formation of a Boltzmann brain could seem like an insignificant event. Yet, its implications are profound. It challenges everything we know about time, space, and consciousness, forcing us to ask deeper questions about the nature of existence itself. For scientists and philosophers alike, the Boltzmann brain is both an intriguing and unsettling thought experiment. It suggests that our perception of reality could be a fragile illusion, one that could be shattered by the recognition that we are, perhaps, nothing more than random patterns in the universe. If this is true, then what is the meaning of our lives, of our experiences, of our thoughts? Yet, the idea also invites us to explore the mysteries of the universe further, to consider the randomness that governs all things. If Boltzmann brains can exist in such a chaotic cosmos, then what else might be possible? What other strange phenomena lie just beyond our understanding, waiting to be discovered in the far reaches of the universe? And so, the Boltzmann brain presents us with a profound paradox. It suggests that despite all our knowledge, all our discoveries, we might still be left with questions that have no answers. It reminds us that the universe is vast, and that consciousness, our awareness of the world, might be a fleeting, fragile thing, one that is as likely to fade as it is to appear. Yet, even in this uncertainty, there is a beauty to be found. The possibility of the Boltzmann brain forces us to question everything, to look deeper into the nature of our own existence, and to consider the infinite ways that reality could unfold. Even if we are mere fluctuations in a vast, indifferent universe, the simple fact that we are here, for now, gives our brief moment of consciousness a certain weight, a certain significance. Out there, in the vast expanse of the universe, there is something elusive. It doesn't emit light, doesn't reflect it, and yet, it is everywhere. It moves galaxies, bends light, and dictates the motion of stars. This unseen force, this mysterious substance, is what we call dark matter. It sounds like science fiction, something pulled from the pages of a distant future. But in reality, dark matter is very much a part of our present understanding of the universe, even though we can't see it, feel it, or touch it. It is, in a sense, the invisible scaffolding of the cosmos, holding galaxies together, shaping the very structure of the universe. When we observe the stars and galaxies, we see how they move, how they behave under the influence of gravity. But something doesn't quite add up. The visible matter, the stars, the gas, the dust, doesn't provide enough gravitational pull to explain the motions we see. Something else, something unseen, must be at play. And so, dark matter was born, a concept designed to explain this discrepancy. It doesn't interact with light in the way normal matter does, making it invisible to our most powerful telescopes. But its presence is undeniable. It exerts gravity, enough to keep galaxies from flying apart, holding the cosmic structures in place like an invisible glue. This mysterious matter is not just a small part of the universe. In fact, it makes up about 27% of all the matter and energy in the universe. For comparison, the visible matter that we can observe, everything we've ever seen, touches, or measured, makes up only about 5%. The rest, about 68%, is something equally enigmatic, dark energy, which drives the universe's expansion. If dark matter makes up such a large part of the universe, why can't we see it? The answer lies in how it interacts, or more accurately, how it doesn't interact. Dark matter does not absorb, reflect, or emit light, and it doesn't interact with electromagnetic forces in the way regular matter does. It interacts only through gravity and possibly through other yet-to-be-understood forces. Imagine for a moment that dark matter is like the threads of a spider's web. You can't see the threads themselves, but you can see how they influence the shape and movement of the web. Similarly, we can't see dark matter, but we can observe how it influences the movements of galaxies and galaxy clusters, and how it warps light in subtle ways. One of the ways we know dark matter is real is through its gravitational lensing effect. As light passes near a massive object, its path is bent by gravity. This bending is more pronounced when dark matter is present, distorting the light from objects behind it. In this way, dark matter reveals its presence, not through direct observation, but through its influence on the light that travels through the cosmos. Despite being invisible, dark matter seems to form clumps, dense regions of gravitational influence scattered throughout the universe. These clumps, though imperceptible to our senses, play a pivotal role in the formation of galaxies. They act as cosmic anchors, providing the gravitational pull needed to keep the swirling masses of stars and gas from flying apart. The true nature of dark matter, however, remains one of the most tantalizing mysteries of modern science. Could it be made of particles we've yet to discover? Some scientists believe dark matter might be composed of weakly interacting massive particles, or WIMPs, which could explain why it's so hard to detect. Others have proposed alternative theories, including the possibility that dark matter is made up of tiny ultralight particles called axions. To search for dark matter is to chase the shadow of a phantom. Experiments are underway around the world, trying to detect these elusive particles, but so far no direct detection has been made. Despite its heavy influence on the universe, dark matter remains hidden, a cosmic enigma that we can only begin to understand. As we explore further, dark matter continues to challenge our very understanding of the cosmos. It pushes the boundaries of what we think we know about the laws of physics, suggesting that there may be forces, particles, or interactions beyond our current comprehension. What if dark matter is just the tip of the iceberg, revealing an entirely new layer of reality waiting to be discovered? Yet, even in its mystery, dark matter serves as a mirror, reflecting our deepest questions about the universe. What is the universe really made of? What hidden forces shape the galaxies, the stars, and everything in between? The more we learn, the more we realize that the universe is far stranger, far more complex than we could have imagined. In many ways, dark matter embodies the unknown. It is the quiet force in the background, shaping the cosmos, yet remaining unseen. It is a reminder that there is so much more to the universe than what we can observe, that much of reality exists beyond our senses, beyond the reach of our tools. Perhaps one day, we will uncover the true nature of dark matter, revealing a new chapter in the story of the cosmos. Until then, it remains a mystery, an invisible force that continues to shape the universe, guiding the stars and holding the galaxies together, while remaining hidden from our gaze. As we look up at the stars and contemplate the vastness of the universe, dark matter serves as a reminder that there is much more beneath the surface. It is a quiet, unseen presence, a force that shapes everything around us while remaining just out of reach. It beckons us to look deeper, to explore further into the mysteries of the cosmos that we have yet to uncover. Far beyond the realms of our senses, there is a force at work that no one can see, but everyone can feel. It moves through space, driving the very fabric of the universe itself. This unseen force which stretches the cosmos outward is known as dark energy, and its influence is profound. Dark energy is responsible for the acceleration of the universe's expansion, a mysterious force that seems to push everything apart. It is as if the universe itself, once steadily expanding after the Big Bang, has begun to stretch faster and faster, with no clear reason. It's a strange contradiction. The universe is expanding, yet it is doing so in a way that defies all expectations. The idea of dark energy was born from the observation that galaxies, once thought to be moving apart due to the universe's expansion, are actually speeding up. Something unseen must be at work, pushing these distant galaxies further from each other at an accelerating rate. And so, dark energy was theorized as the force responsible for this unsettling acceleration. But just what is dark energy? No one knows for sure. It makes up about 68% of the total energy content of the universe, yet it is entirely invisible, undetectable by any of our instruments. We can observe its effects, its influence on the motion of galaxies, but we cannot observe it directly. It is in every sense an enigma. In a way, dark energy is the most powerful force in the universe, far surpassing the gravitational pull of stars and galaxies. Its presence is felt not just across vast distances, but throughout the entire cosmic structure. And yet it is completely alien to us, behaving in ways we do not fully understand. It is a force that acts without any apparent cause, with no obvious source. Scientists have proposed many ideas to explain dark energy, but all of them leave us with more questions than answers. Some suggest that it is a property of space itself, a kind of energy that fills the empty void of the universe. Others believe it could be the result of an unknown form of energy that exists throughout space, something completely different from anything we can perceive. What is clear, however, is that dark energy is central to the universe's ultimate fate. It dictates how galaxies move, how the universe expands, and even how the structure of reality itself will evolve over time. It is the force that will continue to shape the universe long after stars have burned out and galaxies have drifted too far apart to interact. This accelerating expansion is not just a curious anomaly. It suggests that the future of the universe will be very different from its past. As dark energy continues to push galaxies apart, the universe will grow colder and emptier, its once vibrant structures fading into the distance. Over billions of years, this expansion could leave the universe isolated, vast, and dark. The implications of dark energy also challenge our deepest understanding of physics. For decades, scientists believed that the expansion of the universe would eventually slow down, eventually reaching a point of equilibrium. But dark energy has rewritten that story, suggesting that the universe will continue to expand forever, its fate sealed by this mysterious force. As we try to grasp the nature of dark energy, we are reminded of how little we know about the universe. Even though we can measure its effects, we are still in the dark about its true essence. It is a reminder that the cosmos is far more complex than we can imagine, full of forces and phenomena that defy our understanding. The very existence of dark energy forces us to rethink the way we view the universe. For all the complexity of its structure, for all the wonders we've discovered, the universe is still full of mysteries, full of forces that we cannot explain. Dark energy is one of those forces, one that will continue to shape the cosmos in ways we cannot predict. And yet, in a way, the mystery of dark energy is what makes it so captivating. It is a reminder that even in a universe that seems vast and well understood, there are still forces at play that remain beyond our reach. It is a force that pulls at the very fabric of reality, yet remains hidden from our eyes. As we explore the cosmos, searching for answers, we continue to chase the shadow of dark energy, trying to understand its nature, its origin, and its role in the great story of the universe. Each discovery we make adds a piece to the puzzle, but still, the full picture eludes us. Perhaps, one day we will uncover the true nature of dark energy, unlocking the final mysteries of the universe. But for now, it remains a cosmic riddle, a force that drives the universe forward beyond our comprehension, shaping the fate of everything in its path. In many ways, dark energy embodies the unknown. It exists in the gaps between our knowledge, a hidden force that shapes the universe's future while remaining completely invisible. It invites us to look deeper, to question what we know, and to seek the answers that lie just beyond the limits of our understanding. Deep within the fabric of the universe, there are tiny, nearly invisible particles that move through space and time, eluding our grasp. These particles, neutrinos, are the ghosts of the subatomic world, so light and so elusive that they pass through entire planets without a trace. But there is something remarkable about them. They change as they travel. Neutrinos are born in the heart of stars, created in explosive processes like supernovae or the fusion that powers our sun. They zip across the universe, untouched by the forces that govern most other particles. They seem to glide through matter as though it were nothing, their journey an effortless glide through space. But here's the twist: neutrinos don't remain the same as they travel. They oscillate, or switch from one type to another, in ways that scientists only began to understand in the last century. What appears to be one kind of neutrino can, over time, change into another, revealing a hidden complexity that had been overlooked for so long. This phenomenon, known as neutrino oscillation, is a puzzle wrapped in a mystery. At first, neutrinos were thought to be stable, each with a distinct identity. But as experiments began to detect them, scientists noticed something strange. The number of neutrinos didn't always add up. Some seemed to disappear, only to reappear as different types. It's as though these tiny particles are playing a game with us, changing their identity as they move through space, slipping past our attempts to fully understand them. In doing so, neutrino oscillation revealed an unexpected twist in our understanding of particle physics. Neutrinos have mass. For years they were thought to be massless, just as photons, the particles of light, are, but oscillation showed otherwise. To grasp the significance of this, we must consider what neutrino oscillation means for the broader laws of physics. For decades, the standard model of particle physics, which describes how particles interact, treated neutrinos as massless. But this discovery challenges that assumption, adding another layer of mystery to the intricate dance of particles that make up our universe. The oscillation of neutrinos suggests that there is still much to learn about the smallest building blocks of reality. It shows us that even the simplest particles, those that pass through us unnoticed, may carry secrets that could unlock new realms of understanding. What else might be hiding in the unseen corners of the universe, waiting for us to uncover it? For decades, the discovery of neutrino oscillation remained elusive, a hypothesis unproven, until an experiment in 1998 provided the first solid evidence. Scientists observed the behavior of neutrinos produced by the sun, and later those from the atmosphere, and found that they were indeed changing types. This was not just a curiosity, it was a breakthrough, altering the landscape of particle physics. Since then, the study of neutrino oscillation has opened up new avenues of exploration. It's a phenomenon that forces us to rethink what we thought we knew about matter, energy, and the forces that govern them. What other unexpected behaviors might exist in the subatomic world, waiting to be uncovered by new experiments, new technologies, new ways of seeing? The mystery of neutrinos is not just about understanding these particles themselves, but about the implications their behavior has for the universe as a whole. If neutrinos can oscillate between different states, what else might be possible? Could there be other particles, other forces that exist in a state of constant transformation, hidden just beyond the reach of our perception? Scientists are still working to answer these questions, still exploring the implications of neutrino oscillation. But as we look deeper, the more we realize that the universe, at its core, is not as simple as it seems. The behavior of even the tiniest particles is far more intricate, far more fluid than we ever imagined. Neutrino oscillation also raises questions about the fundamental nature of mass itself. If neutrinos have mass, however small, what does that mean for our understanding of mass in general? What are the limits of what can possess mass? And how does this tiny, elusive particle fit into the grander tapestry of the universe? As we continue to explore the mysteries of neutrinos, we begin to see the broader implications for our understanding of the cosmos. Their oscillations may be the key to understanding the fundamental forces that govern the universe, forces we are only just beginning to glimpse. The discovery of neutrino mass and its implications for oscillation has opened a door to an entirely new realm of physics. Perhaps most intriguing is the way neutrino oscillation connects to the biggest mysteries in the universe, the dark matter, the dark energy, and the vast structures of the cosmos that we can't yet fully understand. Could neutrinos play a hidden role in these cosmic forces? Are they somehow tied to the unexplainable phenomena that govern the expansion and structure of the universe? The more we learn about neutrinos, the more we see how much we have yet to uncover. These tiny ghostly particles hold secrets that stretch across the boundaries of space and time, guiding us toward new questions, new possibilities. As we probe the nature of these elusive travelers, we are reminded that there is still so much left to discover, in the spaces we cannot see, in the particles that slip by unnoticed. The universe, it seems, is not simply a place of solid objects and predictable laws. It is a realm of subtle movements, of particles in constant flux, where nothing is fixed and everything is in a delicate state of transformation. Neutrino oscillation is just one example of the unseen forces that shape the cosmos in ways we are only beginning to understand. In the stillness of deep space, where light from distant stars struggles to reach, a strange possibility begins to take shape, one that could bend the very fabric of reality. The Alcubierre warp drive, a theoretical idea that stretches the limits of our imagination, suggests that faster-than-light travel might not be an impossible dream after all. At first glance, the notion of traveling faster than light seems like a violation of the very laws of physics. After all, Einstein's theory of relativity tells us that as an object approaches the speed of light, its mass increases and the energy required to accelerate it becomes infinite. So how could anything travel faster than that limit? The Alcubierre warp drive offers a poetic solution. Instead of propelling a ship faster than light through space, the drive would manipulate space itself, creating a bubble that moves faster than light, carrying the ship within it. In essence, the ship wouldn't be moving faster than light, it would be riding a wave in the very fabric of space-time, stretching and contracting it as it goes. This concept, first proposed by physicist Miguel Alcubierre in 1994, imagines space-time not as a fixed backdrop, but as something that can be altered, shaped, and folded. In this model, the ship sits within a warp bubble, a region where space-time in front of the ship is contracted, while space-time behind it is expanded. The bubble moves at a speed faster than light, but within it the ship itself is at rest. The beauty of the Alcubierre drive lies in its simplicity. It doesn't attempt to break the speed of light, but rather manipulates the very structure of space-time to make the impossible possible. If space-time can be bent and warped, then perhaps, just perhaps, we could bypass the cosmic speed limit altogether, traveling vast distances almost instantaneously. But while the theory is elegant, it remains a far-off dream, constrained by the laws of physics as we currently understand them. The energy required to create such a warp bubble is staggering. In Alcubierre's original proposal, the energy needed would be equivalent to the mass energy of a planet or more, something far beyond our current technological capabilities. Yet, even though the idea seems distant, it invites us to think beyond the constraints of the known universe, to imagine a future where space itself is the vehicle, not the ships that travel within it. The warp drive brings us closer to a vision of exploration, where distances no longer define the boundaries of possibility, where the stars are no longer far-off destinations, but places within reach. Some scientists have proposed modifications to the original Alcubierre model that might reduce the energy requirements. One idea suggests using exotic matter with negative energy density, a mysterious substance that has not yet been observed in the quantities required. This exotic matter could, in theory, help stabilize the warp bubble and make the drive feasible. But this exotic matter, much like dark energy or dark matter, remains elusive, existing only in theoretical models. Until we discover how to create or harness it, the Alcubierre warp drive will remain an idea, floating in the realm of the theoretical. The dream of faster-than-light travel is still just that, a dream, waiting for the right breakthrough. The Alcubierre warp drive also raises profound questions about the nature of space, time, and the universe itself. If we can manipulate space-time to this degree, what else might be possible? Could we travel back in time, opening the door to the kind of paradoxes that have intrigued philosophers and scientists alike for centuries? The implications of such a discovery would be far-reaching, not just for space exploration, but for our understanding of the very fabric of reality. The ability to manipulate space-time on such a fundamental level could transform everything we know about physics, about the universe, and about the limits of what we can achieve. For now, the Alcubierre warp drive remains an intellectual curiosity, a distant possibility that stirs our imagination. It challenges us to rethink what is possible, to stretch the boundaries of our understanding, and to wonder what lies beyond the limits of our current knowledge. Could this dream one day become reality? Only time will tell. The idea of the warp drive also connects us to the deeper questions of exploration and discovery. If we could move beyond the confines of our solar system, if we could travel to distant stars and galaxies, what would we find? What new frontiers of knowledge and understanding would we encounter, waiting for us in the vastness of space? Perhaps the true value of the Alcubierre drive lies not in its practicality, but in what it represents. It speaks to the human desire to reach beyond, to transcend the limits of what we know and venture into the unknown. It is a symbol of our relentless curiosity, our drive to understand the universe and our place within it. And as we look to the stars, to the distant corners of the cosmos, we are reminded that space, time, and the universe itself are not fixed. They are waiting to be explored, waiting for us to bend and shape them, to push beyond the limits of possibility, to chart new paths in the great expanse of the unknown. Even though the Alcubierre warp drive remains a theory, it stirs the imagination and invites us to dream of a future where the stars are within reach, where the vast distances that once separated us from the universe's secrets are no longer barriers, but gateways to a new era of exploration and discovery. Imagine a world where the fabric of time itself bends upon itself, where the past and future are no longer distant shores, but loops that twist and intertwine like threads in a tapestry. This is the concept of closed time-like curves, a strange and abstract idea that stretches the very limits of our understanding of time. At first, time seems so simple, so linear, one moment following another in a steady, unbroken flow. We move forward, day after day, watching the sun rise and set, knowing that time will always carry us forward. But closed time-like curves challenge this simple notion, suggesting that time may not be so straightforward after all. In the realm of general relativity, time is not a constant fixed entity. It is a dimension, much like space, that can bend, stretch, and twist under the influence of gravity. And in this distorted space-time, time can loop back on itself, forming a closed curve. A path that begins and ends at the same point, creating a loop in the very structure of reality. This idea arises from the mathematics of black holes, wormholes, and the warping of space-time. Imagine for a moment a wormhole, a tunnel that connects distant points in space-time. If such a tunnel existed, could it also connect distant points in time? Could it form a loop where the past and future are not separate but intertwined? This is the heart of closed time-like curves. If time can be bent in such a way, then events from the past could be revisited, not in the form of memory or imagination, but as a physical reality. In this scenario, time does not flow in one direction, but spirals back on itself, offering the possibility of revisiting the past, or even altering it. But while this concept is captivating, it is also fraught with paradoxes. If time is a loop, what does it mean to change the past? If someone travels back in time and alters a past event, does that change the future that led them to travel back in the first place? The mind stumbles in trying to follow the implications of such a reality. One famous paradox of closed time-like curves is the grandfather paradox. If you travel back in time and prevent your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you would never be born. But if you were never born, how could you have traveled back in time to alter the course of events? The loop seems to fold in on itself, a contradiction that appears impossible to resolve. Despite these paradoxes, closed time-like curves are a legitimate part of the mathematical framework of general relativity. In some solutions to Einstein's equations, time loops are not only possible but inevitable. Some models even suggest that the very structure of the universe may allow for the existence of such curves, though we have yet to find a way to physically detect them. The possibility of closed time-like curves raises profound questions about the nature of free will, causality, and the very nature of time itself. If time can loop, then can we ever truly make choices, or are we bound by the constraints of an unalterable past? If the past is revisitable, does that mean it is as immutable as the future? Some scientists speculate that closed time-like curves could be the key to understanding some of the deepest mysteries of the universe, including the nature of black holes and the possibility of time travel. If time can indeed bend and fold upon itself, could it be that the universe has hidden layers we have yet to uncover? For now, closed time-like curves remain a theoretical concept, an idea that exists in the realm of abstract physics. But the possibility that the past, present, and future are not as fixed and separate as we believe is both unsettling and beautiful. It suggests a universe far more fluid, far more complex than we ever imagined. This concept also challenges our understanding of history. If time is not linear, but cyclical, then how do we perceive events? Are they fixed, immutable, or do they echo through the loops of time, repeating themselves in patterns we cannot yet see? Perhaps the events of our lives are not as singular as we think, but part of an ongoing loop of repetition. As we explore the potential for closed time-like curves, we must also confront the limitations of our own perception. We experience time as a continuous unidirectional flow, but could this be an illusion? Could time itself be a more malleable force, one that we have yet to fully comprehend? The study of closed time-like curves forces us to ask questions we may not yet be ready to answer. In the vastness of the universe, with its countless stars and galaxies, the possibility of time bending upon itself invites us to imagine a reality far stranger than we can see. The thought that we might one day witness or even manipulate the loops of time is both thrilling and humbling, reminding us how much there is still to discover. Yet, even as we dream of time travel and closed time-like curves, we must remember that these ideas, for all their wonder, remain shrouded in uncertainty. We are still at the edge of understanding, exploring the abstract and the unknown, and while the possibility of time loops fascinates us, it is a mystery that may take many lifetimes to uncover. Perhaps the true allure of closed time-like curves lies not in their practicality, but in their invitation to rethink everything we know about the universe. Time, like space, is a dimension waiting to be explored, and with every discovery, we inch closer to understanding the vast fluid nature of reality itself. Somewhere in the strange and uncharted territories of physics, there exists a class of particles that defy the rules we know. These particles, called tachyons, travel faster than light, slipping through the fabric of space and time like shadows. They exist on the edge of our understanding, suggesting that the limits of reality may be more fluid than we realize. Tachyons, if they exist, break the conventional understanding of speed. In the world of particles, the speed of light is the ultimate barrier, the highest speed that anything can achieve. But tachyons, by their very nature, are supposed to exceed this limit, darting through space at unimaginable speeds. This breaks one of the cornerstones of modern physics, the theory of relativity. The concept of tachyons comes from theoretical physics, where particles are often described by equations that explore all possibilities, even the most bizarre, In this mathematical landscape, particles can exist that travel faster than light, and tachyons are the theoretical result of this exploration. They exist as a solution to the equations, showing that speed itself might not be as fixed as we think. Tachyons are often thought of as imaginary particles, abstract constructs that live within mathematical models, but may never exist in the physical world. Their existence challenges the very notion of causality. If these particles can travel faster than light, they could move backward in time, creating paradoxes that unravel the direction of cause and effect. But despite their theoretical nature, tachyons raise important questions about the structure of space and time. Could there be regions of space where tachyons exist, slipping through the gaps of reality as we know it? If tachyons do exist, they could unlock entirely new layers of understanding about how the universe operates, beyond our current frame of reference. One intriguing idea is that tachyons could provide a window into understanding the nature of time itself. If these particles can move faster than light, they might not be bound by the same temporal rules that govern slower-moving particles. Could they travel backward, revisiting past events, or could they slip into the future, living outside the constraints of our linear time? If tachyons could move backward through time, they might offer a glimpse into the possibility of time travel. But even as this possibility intrigues the imagination, it also brings with it a torrent of paradoxes. Could something travel back in time without disturbing the timeline? Or would their mere existence cause ripples, altering the course of events? There is another theory, one that suggests that tachyons are not just particles of light speed breaking speed, but could be the key to unlocking the nature of dark matter and dark energy. If tachyons exist and they influence the universe in ways we can't see, they might explain the unseen forces that drive the expansion of the universe. They could be a hidden link between the known and the unknown. Despite the challenges posed by tachyons, they continue to be a source of fascination for physicists. Some believe that their existence could explain certain phenomena that are difficult to understand with our current models, such as the mysterious behavior of particles in high-energy environments, or the strange dynamics of quantum fields. In this sense, tachyons are more than theoretical curiosities. They may be the missing piece in understanding the most fundamental aspects of the universe. As abstract as tachyons may seem, their very nature forces us to reconsider the limitations of speed, space, and time. If such particles can exist in the fabric of reality, then perhaps there are more aspects of the universe that we cannot yet perceive. We might be standing on the edge of a deeper, more complex reality, one where the boundaries we have so carefully defined are only the beginning. One of the most tantalizing questions raised by tachyons is whether they could be detected. If tachyons do exist, could we observe their effects in the real world, or are they too fast, too elusive, to ever be directly measured? Even if they remain undetectable, their presence could still be inferred through their impact on the particles we do observe, perhaps revealing new layers of the quantum world. The search for tachyons is not just about proving their existence, it's about stretching the limits of our imagination, about opening the door to possibilities that seem beyond reach. Theoretical particles like tachyons challenge our assumptions, pushing us to question the very fabric of space-time and the rules that govern it. They invite us to think in ways we have never thought before. But even as we explore the potential for tachyons, we are reminded of the limitations of our current understanding. The more we learn, the more we realize how much there is left to discover. Tachyons may exist only in the realm of theoretical physics, but their implications stretch far beyond that, urging us to look deeper, think bigger, and explore the unknown. Whether tachyons are real or just a product of mathematical models, their presence in the conversation of physics reminds us that the universe is still full of mysteries. The possibility of faster-than-light particles is just one example of the cosmic enigma that continues to unfold before us, urging us to embrace the unknown and pursue the questions that drive us forward. There is a place in the depths of quantum mechanics where the arrow of time seems to bend, where cause and effect no longer follow their usual path. This is the strange realm of retrocausality, a theory that suggests events in the future can influence the past, turning everything we understand about time on its head. In our everyday experience, time moves forward. The past is fixed, the present is fleeting, and the future is a distant, unknown horizon. We are bound by this progression, unable to reverse the flow. But retrocausality challenges this simple notion, proposing that the future might not be as far away as we think. It suggests that, under certain conditions, the future can reach back and shape the past. This idea seems at odds with everything we know. How can an event in the future affect something that has already happened? How could a cause originate from something that is yet to occur? Retrocausality raises questions that seem to unravel the very fabric of reality, questioning the flow of time itself. The seeds of this theory are sown in the quantum world, where particles can exist in multiple states at once, and their behavior seems to defy the predictable laws of classical physics. In this strange realm, particles can be influenced by actions taken in the future, not just the present or the past. It's as though the boundaries of time become porous, allowing events to ripple across its surface. One of the most intriguing aspects of retrocausality is its connection to quantum entanglement. In this phenomenon, particles become linked, such that the state of one particle instantly affects the state of another, no matter the distance between them. Some interpretations suggest that this instantaneous connection might not be confined to the present, but could be a result of influences that span both directions in time. The idea that the future can influence the past is not just a curiosity, it has profound implications for our understanding of free will and determinism. If the future can reach back to the past, how do we reconcile our sense of agency? Are we truly making choices, or are those choices influenced by future events we have yet to experience? In the world of retrocausality, the past and future are not as separate as we assume. Instead, they may be part of a more complex, interconnected whole, where the distinctions between cause and effect become blurred. This perspective invites us to reconsider our understanding of time, space, and the very nature of reality. What if in some sense the future is already written, influencing the present as much as the past? Could the events that we think of as inevitable have been shaped long before we made our decisions? Retrocausality offers a haunting and beautiful possibility, one where time is not a one-way street, but a tangled web, where the future and past meet and intertwine. In experiments involving quantum particles, certain outcomes seem to depend not just on what happens in the present, but also on what might happen in the future. This has led some scientists to speculate that the very act of measurement in quantum experiments could be influenced by future events, suggesting that time itself might not be as rigid as we once thought. If this is true, then our understanding of causality, of how events unfold and influence one another, would need to be rewritten. The familiar cause and effect relationships we depend on might only be part of a much larger, more fluid picture, where time itself bends and twists in ways that we are only beginning to comprehend. Yet the concept of retrocausality is not without its challenges. It conflicts with our most deeply held intuitions about the world. If the future can affect the past, what does that say about the nature of time travel? Can we change the past, or is it forever tied to the future in a loop of influence? Despite these paradoxes, retrocausality provides a rich field of inquiry for physicists and philosophers alike. It forces us to confront the limitations of our understanding and stretch the boundaries of what we think is possible. Could time be more than a simple sequence of events, more than a straight line from past to present to future? In many ways, retrocausality invites us to embrace the mystery, to accept that time may not be as simple or as linear as we once believed. It challenges us to rethink the very foundations of reality, to entertain the idea that the future and the past might be inextricably linked in ways that we can't yet understand. As we explore these ideas, we are reminded that the universe is full of surprises, that the rules we live by are far more malleable than we realize. Retrocausality, like so many other ideas in the realm of quantum mechanics, shows us that there is still so much to discover, so much that lies just beyond the horizon of our current knowledge. You lie back, feeling the stillness of the night wrap around you. The world is filled with abstract concepts, numbers, ideas, shapes, all things that seem to exist in their own right. But where do these concepts live? Are they real in the way objects are real, or are they simply names we give to things? This is the heart of nominalism, the belief that abstract objects like numbers, properties, or categories do not exist independently of us. In this view, these concepts are not real things in themselves. They are simply names, labels, that we assign to groups of things in the world to help us make sense of what we see. Imagine a tree in the forest. We call it a tree because it shares certain characteristics with other trees. But according to nominalism, the concept of tree is not something that exists outside of our minds. It is just a word, a label, a way of grouping certain objects together. The label tree does not exist independently. It is something we create. Numbers, too, are abstract objects. You think of the number 3. But what is the essence of 3? 3 is not a physical thing you can touch or see. It does not exist as an independent object. 3 is simply a concept, a name we give to the grouping of 3 objects. Without objects, there is no 3. Under nominalism, even abstract qualities like redness or roundness do not exist as independent entities. These qualities are only descriptions of things that we perceive. The redness of an apple is not something that exists apart from the apple. Redness is just a label we give to the experience of seeing something with that color. This idea challenges our everyday understanding of the world. We often think of abstract concepts as real, independent entities. But nominalism asks us to consider that these ideas do not have existence outside of our minds. They are not things in themselves. They are just names, labels, and categories that we create to organize our perceptions. Even categories like animal or plant are not real in themselves. They are simply labels that group together certain characteristics we observe in nature. The boundary between what is an animal and what is not something that exists in nature. It is a concept we impose on the world, shaped by our observations. This view forces us to reconsider how we think about the world. If abstract objects do not exist independently, then what is real? What is it that gives the world meaning? Nominalism suggests that meaning comes from the way we label and group things. It is not intrinsic to the objects themselves. The world is as we name it. In this view, reality is not divided into fixed categories. It is fluid, shaped by our experience, our labels, and our concepts. The things we see, the objects we interact with, are not bound by unchanging categories. They are flexible, changing, always subject to the way we perceive and name them. Think of language itself. It is full of names, labels, and categories that we use to understand the world. But those words are not the world. They are tools created by us to navigate our experience. Words like chair, cloud, and mountain are not the things themselves. They are just names we use to group certain things together. Under nominalism, we are not discovering the true nature of reality. We are creating it, shaping it with our labels, our concepts, and our words. We do not find meaning in the world. We assign meaning to it, organizing our experiences in ways that make sense to us. The world is not as it is as we name it. So as you rest here, drifting towards sleep, consider this: the concepts you carry with you, the labels, the names, the categories, are not as fixed as they seem. They are not separate from you. They are creations of your mind, shaped by the way you perceive the world. You are not merely discovering reality, you are creating it. In sleep, the boundaries of concepts may dissolve. You slip between states, between ideas, between labels. The distinctions you carry through waking life, between you and the world, between objects and ideas, fade away. You rest in the fluidity of perception, where nothing is fixed and everything is subject to your mind's gentle creation. Let go of the need to hold on to fixed ideas, to cling to labels and categories. The world is not made of things as we understand them. It is made of perceptions, of experiences, of names that we assign to the unfolding world. Reality is not a fixed place. It is an ever-shifting landscape shaped by our consciousness. In the quiet of sleep, you are free from the need to categorize, to define, to label. The world becomes an open space, full of possibility, full of change. You no longer need to hold on to the fixed ideas of who you are or what you are. You simply exist in the flow, free from the constraints of language and thought. So rest now, knowing that the world around you, the concepts you carry with you, are not as fixed as they seem. You are not bound by the labels you have created. You are part of a world that is always shifting, always changing, always fluid. Let go of the need to define and simply be. You lie still, feeling the quiet flow of your breath. The world around you is calm, yet there's a subtle, unspoken mystery in the air. What if the reality you experience is not as fixed as it seems? What if the very act of observing changes the world around you? This is the essence of quantum decoherence and the observer effect, two strange concepts that suggest reality is not as simple as we think. According to quantum theory, the world at its smallest scales is filled with possibilities, with particles existing in multiple states at once until something or someone observes them. Imagine a particle in a state of uncertainty. It is not just in one place, but in many, moving between possibilities, suspended in the vast ocean of potential. It is only when the particle is observed that it settles, that it chooses its position, its state, its reality. Before that moment, it exists in many forms all at once. This is the heart of the observer effect. It is not just that we see the world. Our observation shapes it. The very act of looking at something, measuring it, changes it. The possibilities collapse. The wave becomes a particle, and what was once uncertain becomes real, tangible, solid. You, the observer, are not passive. You are an active participant in the creation of reality. Quantum decoherence takes this idea further. It suggests that the quantum state, the realm of possibilities, exists in parallel, constantly interacting. But once we measure or observe, the superposition of possibilities breaks down. The world becomes definite, fixed, in a process of decoherence. The universe shifts from a state of potential to one of actuality. But what if this act of observation is more than just a mechanical process? What if it is not simply the measurement that collapses the wave, but the conscious observer, the mind itself, that plays a role in shaping the outcome? Is it possible that our consciousness, our awareness, is more intertwined with reality than we can imagine? The idea that observation creates reality is both disorienting and fascinating. If everything exists in a cloud of possibilities until it is observed, then what happens to the world when we are not looking at it? Does it exist at all? Or does the world only truly come into being when we turn our attention to it, when we look and become aware? This is where the mystery deepens. The observer effect tells us that reality is not fixed. It is a fluid, dynamic process shaped by the presence of consciousness itself. The world is not a static thing, waiting to be discovered. It is alive, changing, and unfolding based on our perceptions, our actions, and our awareness. Think about the light you see in the room. Is it truly there when you're not looking? When you turn your head, does the world remain in its state, or does it shift and change, waiting for your attention to bring it into being? The observer effect suggests that the world is not simply a backdrop to your experience. It is a co-creation between you and the universe itself. And in sleep, the world around you becomes even more fluid. The boundary between observer and observed fades. The act of observation slips into the background, and you drift between possibilities, between states of awareness. The very nature of reality seems to shift, like a dream where everything is both real and not real at once. In that space, where the mind is not fully awake, the rules of classical physics seem to dissolve. The world becomes more malleable, more like the quantum world, where possibilities exist alongside certainty. Sleep is a realm where observation and reality merge, where the boundaries between what is and what could be are soft, delicate, and ever-shifting. What does this mean for you, for your experience of the world? Perhaps it suggests that you are not merely a passive observer of reality. You are a participant, shaping it with every thought, every glance, every breath. Your awareness is not separate from the world. It is an integral part of the unfolding of reality itself. So as you rest, think of this: the world you experience is not as fixed as it appears. It is shaped by your presence, your observation, your consciousness. You are not just living in a world that is separate from you. You are a part of it, participating in the creation of it, moment by moment. In sleep, let go of the need to understand, to control, to observe. Allow yourself to slip into the fluidity of existence, where the boundaries between observer and world dissolve. Rest in the knowledge that you are not separate from the universe. You are a part of it, shaping it, participating in the unfolding of every moment. Time slips away in the quiet of sleep. The act of observation becomes softer, gentler. The world around you exists, not as a fixed thing, but as a wave of possibilities, waiting for you to return and observe once again. In this space, all things are possible. All things exist, waiting for the observer to bring them into being. Let go of the world for now. Let go of the need to measure, to observe, to control. Sleep is the space where the observer effect fades, where the boundaries between you and the world blur. You are free to float between possibilities, free to experience the world as both real and imagined, all at once. As you drift deeper into rest, remember, you are not a passive observer. You are a participant in the unfolding of reality. And in this moment, as you slip into sleep, you are not just experiencing the world. You are co-creating it, shaping it with your awareness, your consciousness, your very being. You rest, the stillness of the night surrounding you, as thoughts drift softly in and out. But what if existence itself could be argued, could be proven, through thought alone? What if through the act of reasoning, we could come to understand the very nature of being, the essence of existence itself? This is the heart of the ontological argument, a philosophical idea that asks, does the concept of something mean that it must exist? It suggests that by thinking about the idea of a perfect being, a necessary existence, we can prove that such a being must exist in reality. But is that possible? Can thought alone create existence? Imagine for a moment a perfect being, a being that has all the qualities we consider perfect, omniscient, omnipotent, and importantly necessary. A being whose existence is not contingent, not dependent on anything else, but one whose very essence requires existence. Can such a being exist only in the mind, or must it exist in reality? According to the ontological argument, if we can conceive of such a being, then it must exist. Why? Because existence is part of perfection. A perfect being, by definition, cannot lack existence. If it did, it would not be perfect. The act of conceiving of perfection itself implies that perfection exists. This is the core of the ontological argument. If you can imagine a being that is perfectly necessary, then that being must exist in reality. Existence is a quality of perfection. Without existence, perfection would be incomplete, imperfect. So by thinking about it, you are already bringing this perfect being into being. But how do we reconcile this idea with the world we know? If the mere concept of something can prove its existence, then why do we not see perfect beings everywhere? How can we apply this reasoning to the world around us, to objects and beings that we interact with every day? The answer, according to the ontological argument, lies in the nature of perfection itself. Perfection is not just a quality we attribute to things in the world. It is a concept, an ideal that exists outside of time and space, beyond our normal understanding. It is not subject to the limitations of the world we live in. In this view, thinking about a perfect being, whether you call it God or something else, brings it into existence in a different way. It is not the physical existence we are familiar with, but an existence that transcends time, space, and matter. It exists as an idea, but that idea is so powerful, so perfect, that it must manifest in reality. This argument is not without its critics. How can something exist purely because we conceive of it? Isn't existence something more than just a mental concept? Does a perfect being really have to exist because we think it does? Can thought alone create reality? Or does existence require more than just thought? These are the questions that challenge the ontological argument. They ask us to consider whether thought and existence are truly intertwined. Can the mind create the world? Or is the mind simply a tool for perceiving a world that already exists, independent of our thoughts about it? As you rest here, let go of the need for answers. The ontological argument invites us to ponder the very nature of existence. It asks us to consider whether thought can create reality, whether our conceptions shape the world around us. But in this moment, you do not need to answer. Just let the thoughts pass by, like clouds in the sky. In sleep, the boundaries between thought and reality may blur. The world of ideas and the world of experience may merge, like two rivers flowing into one. Just as the ontological argument asks us to consider the nature of existence itself, sleep invites us to experience existence in a different way, beyond thought, beyond reason, beyond question. The ontological argument reminds us that existence is a complex and elusive concept. It challenges us to think about what it means to be, to exist, to be necessary. But as you drift deeper into rest, let go of the need to understand. Just feel the stillness, the quiet, the presence of being itself. Rest in the knowledge that existence is a mystery, something beyond full comprehension. The perfect being, the essence of existence, these are ideas that we reach for, but cannot fully grasp, and yet even without the answers, we exist, here and now, in the stillness of the moment. So as you drift towards sleep, let the ontological argument fade into the background. There is no need to prove or disprove existence, simply be. In this moment, you exist, and that is enough. The mysteries of existence will remain, but you need not chase them. Simply rest, knowing that you are part of the great unfolding of reality. You lie in stillness, the weight of the world fading, as you settle into the quiet of the night. You think of all the objects around you, the people you know, the things you touch. But what makes one thing different from another? What is it that makes two things distinct from each other? This is the puzzle of the indiscernibility of identicals, a concept that challenges our understanding of identity. It suggests that if two objects are truly identical, if they share all the same properties, the same qualities, then they are not really two objects at all. They are one and the same, indistinguishable from each other. Imagine for a moment two chairs that are exactly the same color, the same shape, the same material. If there is nothing that differentiates them, then how can they be considered two separate things? According to the indiscernibility of identicals, they are not separate at all. They are the same thing, experienced twice. This idea asks us to consider the nature of identity. How do we distinguish one thing from another? What is it that makes you you and not someone else? Is it the sum of your properties, the way you look, the way you think, or is there something more, something beyond these properties that makes you unique? If two things are identical in every way, then according to this principle, they are the same. The difference between them is not in their properties, but in the way we experience them. The idea of separate objects, of distinct identities, is something we create through perception, not through any inherent difference in the things themselves. This principle can be disorienting. We live in a world where things seem distinct, separate, and individual. But what if that distinction is just an illusion? What if the very idea of individuality, of separateness, is something our minds create, something that doesn't really exist in the world as it is? The indiscernibility of identicals invites us to think differently about the world. It asks us to consider that identity is not something fixed, something intrinsic to objects. It is something we impose, something that emerges from the way we perceive and categorize the world. In reality, things may be more fluid, more interconnected than we imagine. Consider your own identity. What makes you you? Is it the sum of your experiences, your thoughts, your memories? If everything about you, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you look, could be replicated exactly, would you still be you? Would you still be an individual? Or would you be indistinguishable from another? In the same way, the world around you is not made up of fixed, separate objects. The things you see, the things you touch, are all interconnected, part of a larger whole. The boundaries between them are not as clear-cut as we might think. The world is a flow of experiences, not a collection of distinct, isolated entities. As you rest, think of the things around you. The chair you sit in, the sounds you hear, the thoughts you think, are they truly separate, or are they part of a larger tapestry, woven together by your perception, by your mind? The boundaries between things fade, and what remains is the experience itself. In sleep, these boundaries dissolve even further. The world around you becomes a fluid, dreamlike space where nothing is fixed, nothing is separate, everything is part of the same flow, the same experience. You are not defined by the things around you. You are part of the flow of consciousness, interconnected, undivided. Let go of the need to distinguish, to separate. The indiscernibility of identicals teaches us that identity is not something rigid, it is something fluid, something shaped by perception and experience. You are not a fixed object in the world. You are part of it, connected to everything in a constant flow of becoming. As you drift deeper into rest, feel the world soften around you. The distinctions between things blur, and you are no longer separated from the world. You are one with it, a part of the vast, interconnected whole. There is no need to grasp at identity. You are already whole, already part of the flow. Sleep, too, is part of this flow. It is not separate from the waking world. In sleep, the boundaries between you and the world fade, and you become part of the larger experience, part of the dream, part of the whole. There is no distinction between you and the world around you. You are one, and as you rest, know this: the world is not made of fixed identities. It is made of experiences, of perceptions, of connections. You are not separate from it. You are part of it, flowing with it, becoming it. Let go of the need to distinguish, and simply be part of the larger whole. In the stillness of sleep, let the distinctions dissolve. Feel yourself merge with the world, with the flow of experience, where identity is not fixed, but fluid. You are not separate. You are part of the unfolding, part of the whole, part of the experience of being. And in that, you are complete.